Liked by the sound of violence.
There's a potential for the next pay-per-view at the end of the month that you never know. I might be going to Houston for it because, of course, Texas, as well as now 15 states, and we're not going to get into that, have rolled back the mask mandates. We're not going to get into that, you fucking nutters. But they've rolled that back. So straight away, Dana called and tried to get into, where was it, Dallas? They said no. But Houston apparently is on the card. So I was like, oh shit, that'd be huge. You know, pay-per-view at the end of the month in a crowd, sold-out arena.
Sold out.
I mean,
give me tickets. I'll come down, baby boy. Let's bring BYM to Houston.
Ha! No!
Are you excited about it all?
What up, everybody, and welcome back to yet another Sound of Violence podcast. We are an MMA podcast, talks about the MMA podcast you should catch and can't miss each week. So as we try and check out a new show, and we aim to be a form of mutual aid for the MMA community. I am Pulver, and I am back yet again with my co-host, Chris Daffer. How's it going, man?
It's going. I am still struggling from being a little party boy last night.
Yeah, we both got fucked up yesterday.
Oh, you did as well?
Oh, we should talk about yours first, but I did end up, me and girlfriend Karen did end up drinking 3/4 of a handle of vodka and watching a Goofy movie throughout the night. So that was a whole ass thing.
Hilarious.
We got so drunk we didn't eat. We made pizza because of how Goofy movie makes pizza look great, and then we didn't eat the pizza.
Oh, man. Missed opportunity, but as long as you had fun.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was fun from what I remember. But you said you also got quite trash, right?
Oh, yeah. The homie Trevor is back in town.
That's right, which you guys have heard on episode 100, I believe.
Yep.
Actually, since Trevor's back in town, we are going to have to do an in-person episode 200, aren't we?
We will.
Because we are 10 away.
Today was his 30th birthday.
That's right. Big shouts out.
Yeah, it was fun. We had a fun time. But we watched the fight card last night. I missed most of the card initially because I was at work. I got everyone the fuck out of there. I got home around 8:30, right before the Jan Sterling fights. And
dude, that's a perfect time to jump in because, like, if you're going to catch two fights, those last two were insane. Or I guess 3, if you count Amanda Nunes beating up Megan Anderson as a fight.
Yeah, if you saw her walking in, she already looked like she'd seen a ghost, so she was kind of, well.
Megan Anderson had big old eyes during a lot of that, yeah.
Yeah, fun night. Lots of victories in beer pong. I was undefeated, of course.
Oh, shit. That's right. By the way, my friends are delinquents, and Southern California doesn't give a fuck about coronavirus, let's be honest.
So luckily, all the people I was hanging out with are mindful of COVID.
And to be fair,
masks, and we're all respectful, and they all wash their hands and all that. And
no
one's a dumbass. So the people we're hanging out with, no one's like, oh fuck COVID. Like, no one. There's just a quick discrepancy here.
I know. I want to say, like, while
Texas, brother.
Yeah. I'm not going to doing it, but yeah, it's the responsible version of it. It's not like my neighbors across the street who are just having fucking parties on their roof every night.
Yeah. I got the first dose of the vaccine a couple days ago, and I got dose
because you're
number 2
frontline.
coming up soon. So it was. I got the Pfizer one. I know. Someone I just talked to tonight, they got Moderna, and they said it fucked them up.
Yeah, Karen, I think, got Moderna. I know it fucked her up, the first one. The second one a little bit less, but the first one fucked her up
I just
bad.
had like an arm that felt like it got punched really hard.
That's like a classic fucking vaccine shot issue, though. Like, yeah. Fucking good on every... Also, shouts out to Dolly Parton with her fucking Jolene remix of Vaccine. That is the dopest. First off, I've been playing a lot of Fuser, and anybody who's played Fuser knows what's up with Jolene. Jolene is a banger, and every DJ should be playing it in every set. But her remix of the vaccine, it's really good.
Jesus.
It's really good. I'm a big fan.
Big shout out to Dolly Parton and her
Also, big shouts to Dolly Parton for being like, yeah, let's not put up a statue of me right now in America. That feels weird.
So thanks to her for being a good human being.
Yeah, if only the MMA community had a couple of those, huh?
Yeah, they can use a lot of those, and definitely not a lot of murderous dictators.
Yeah, some things we'll get to this week, I am sure.
You can't take blood, but you need to fight for your people.
Right. If I told you how I hate gay people and you have to fight.
If you retire, I will call you gay and kill your family.
Yeah.
He didn't say that. Well, he probably did.
I mean, it was implied, I feel like. Okay, great. This is off to a great start. Chris.
Fuck Kadyrov.
We've always been on Team Fuck Kadyrov, and we are...
Kadyrov Chechnya is a massive piece of shit. He is anti-gay, and he is anti-human, if you ask me. He should not just go away.
Yeah, he should not be allowed to exist in the sport, just like managers like Ali should not be allowed to be in the sport if they're going to be supportive of people like this. Also, Chris Meibman, Verdum, Frank Mir, we see you, bro. And let me know how that I don't know about politics shit works in a couple years when people start bringing this back up, because y'all fucked yourselves. On that note, also shouts to Bilal Muhammad. On that note, who blocked us?
Hi.
Yeah. Well, I would say hi to him, Chris, but we can't because we're not allowed to because he blocked us.
That's right. He'll never do it. Hi.
Well, to be fair, Ali blocked us, but in a counter protest, I blocked Ali on our account. So, we having block parties out here, Chris, I guess is my point. But
what am I supposed to do? Just DM him with just like a rat emoji and then instantly block him?
Yeah, something like that. On that note, we're doing great. We should get into so we've had a bunch of technical difficulties. Also, I want to say out the gate, because if my mic stops working and Chris has to cover for me for a little bit while I recover it, that's the case, because that's happened twice before we started.
Yo, you talking about technical difficulties?
Yeah, I'm talking about them. I'm talking about the technicalities, B. So full disclosure. Also, full disclosure. Whenever we have technical difficulties, Pulver starts drinking harder, and then it doesn't get better. So, on that note, Chris, that's a great segue into our Papa Vodka Presents. Doug Stanhope presents our sponsors, which before we even get to it, I would like to state, if you are anywhere near the Bisbee, Arizona area, please go to, I believe it's Dot's Diner in Bisbee, Arizona, and go ahead and get yourself a plate served by Doug Stanhope, because he is currently working in a diner in Bisbee, Arizona as a waiter, and like doing dishes. So enjoy that. That'll be a lot of fun for you. But Chris, what are you drinking on?
So, this was recommended to me by a recent episode brought to you by the Four Brewers podcast.
Dude,
where
yeah!
They drank beer that you can find in tall cans at 7-Eleven.
That's right.
And
shouts to 805, because it's mostly 805.
So, 805, Stella, something from Fire...
Tecate,
Voodoo Ranger.
Voodoo Ranger, right.
So, speaking of 805...
I knew it was 805.
A certain beer that I have not had.
You mean the lime 805, the
Cerveza.
Cerveza. Yeah.
And they said it was surprisingly good. So I'm like, well, I'll take their word for it. And it's not bad. It's actually pretty decent.
So you're saying it's not as bad as Miller Chill?
what do they say, Bud Ice? They're like, oh, it's like boozy, but what do they mean by ice? Does that mean it's supposed to be like what do they call it? Ice frosted or ice chilled? Or
No,
something?
fuck. What's the
It's a fucking term.
It's ice wine, but like there's a it's basically ice distilled. I forget what the actual term is, but yeah, because if you freeze anything, it basically pulls the alcohol out of it. And there was a couple of beers back in like the old school, like back when God, what is the name of the brewery that's God? They're in some European country. Dog Brew. The people in Drink TV. It's they're the ones that had Tactical Nuclear Penguin. They've essentially made these beers that they would make a beer. They would then freeze it and distill it through that process. And so it becomes like a 29% beer, but it's no longer carbonated because essentially you're taking all the water out of it. God, what is... Okay, It's...
I have another unofficial sponsor. This is kind of a subtle flex as well. If you don't mind, this is also unofficially brought to you by Sony PlayStation 5, which I was able to get one.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, Chris has a PS5, y'all.
Yeah, so I have a Turbo Man doll, essentially, and no, I am not a scalper. I did not use a bot.
No, you just you got in touch with Sinbad, and he hooked you up.
Yes, exactly. I knew a mail carrier.
Yeah.
But in all seriousness, just go ahead and follow certain Site Supply. Any of those people on Twitter that like have the drops, they provide something called an add to cart link, an ATC link. Luckily, I was randomly up at like 6:45 in the morning when I got the alert. Initially, I tried to get the digital one on the Amazon app. I had it successfully added to my cart, but guess what? It magically went away. And then like 10 minutes later, like, oh, here's the disc version, which is the one I wanted. And he provided an ATC link. I was able to click that. It went to a regular link on Safari on my phone, not on my laptop. Someone said the phone's better, whatever. Anyways,
that's what I've heard is it's easier
on phone.
I
press ATC link. I press add to cart. It said error when on Amazon when it shows like a dog. That's like the error page. I was like, no, I'm not back on. I just pressed refresh. All of a sudden it said proceed to checkout. Sign in. I thought, oh fuck, signed in as fast as I could, and then I was able to buy one.
Well, there you go. So if y'all want some pro tips on how to get a PS5.
Yeah, basically follow those people on Twitter that provide the add to cart links, because that's how you beat bots.
Yeah. And also, the beer I was talking about, or the brewery I was talking about is Brewdog. I knew it had dog in the name, and I knew it was...
because I went to the one in Germany.
Yeah. Actually, they do have a Germany location.
Yeah, I went there. I was there with my brother.
Yeah, they're great. They're like they're a very cool brewery, actually. Actually, did they end up buying the Stone Munich location?
The Berlin Garden
or
thing?
Berlin? I know somebody bought it.
It might have been them.
Don't remember if it was them or not.
I just remember when I went to Brewdog, when I was over there in Germany, they had a shit ton of Stone beer.
Yeah, definitely. Well, and them and Stone have actually been like long time. They've done a bunch of. They haven't done collabs, but they've been in touch a lot.
And I know we're not
years.
a beer podcast.
Quick,
did you watch the SD Beer News Awards?
Dude, I've seen some of them, but I heard from a certain someone that might or may not have been you that I heard that my favorite, like I would say, probably my favorite coffee stout of all time.
A top 3 stout.
Yeah, Zumbar. I would call it a number 2 San Diego stout, if not, especially of the coffee variety. Yeah, I heard you guys kind of cleaned up in that. Number
2 in coffee category and number 2 in Imperial Russian Stout. I think 1 in coffee was bacon and eggs. Very good.
Dude, that's the toughest competition of all time.
Number 3,
because that's a real Sophie's choice. Speedway, yeah.
And number 1 in Russian Imperial Stout, just it was Speedway.
Was it regular? Was the coffee the regular Speedway or the Vietnamese Speedway?
Regular.
Okay.
At least that's how I described it. So
yeah, because I know both of them are coffee.
God, right. The Vietnamase one is the best one.
That's what I was gonna say. I was like, yo, the Vietnamese coffee Speedway is fucking so fire, dude.
Yeah.
But it's like barely a coffee stout though, so I get why they went with the regular.
I'm happy for Zumbar. It's still such a fantastic beer, and
dude, it's my favorite.
Shouts out to us. The big winners were Society, Epic Brewing, Virgin, and North Park Beer Co. were the main winners. They won a lot.
Yeah, and that was the industry picks too, I believe.
And I'm including fan as well, like
well,
society. Yeah.
Yeah, but a lot of the like the words you're talking about for you guys
Yes.
were like specifically industry, which means like, yo, in the beer industry is like, yo, you guys are right behind bacon and eggs from fucking like that is some high praise, bro.
And no disrespect to 394, I still like 394.
Love me
it's
some 394.
Yeah. It's definitely, in my opinion, respectfully, not the best hoppy beer that's a non-IPA.
It's not even close.
Yeah.
It's like
good
top
beer.
10 maybe.
It's a good beer. I'll still drink it.
Yeah. I honestly wouldn't have bought your guys' IPAs over them, so.
But yeah, I had to just plug the SD Beer News Awards. It was fun watching that on YouTube, and they had a good production. And shouts out to, I forgot his name. I apologize, the guy who put it together.
Right. But it shouts also to Beer Night in San Diego, who is the podcast that is like semi-affiliated with it. And they are, I mean, if you guys want to learn about San Diego, Mark Fellows, I'm talking to you right now if you're listening. Mark Fellows, if you want to learn about San Diego beer.
And I know I'm going to distract
Beer Night in San Diego.
Real quick, I did listen to another episode from them right after listening to Four Brewers when I was at work because I was closing up. They did one, it was their 300th episode, and they just said, okay, bring your favorite beer of 2020, something like that. And one of them had King Hayes, the LeBron, the other Lakers LeBron James double hazy beer from Pariah Brewing. I got it. It was expensive, but it was very good.
It's so good. I got that back at the brewery. I think I want to say last year. I think it was when I went and because we went downtown last year. This is just before the pandemic, like 2 weeks before probably. We went downtown and did a bar crawl and went to a bunch of places and then found a band that like walked down the street. I literally started a second line last year in San Diego, god damn it. And then we found that band playing, doing like another bar crawl the next day, which started at Pariah. So we went to Pariah and that's when I had that LeBron Hayes, as well as there was a wine barrel aged version of something. It might have been a wine barrel aged version of the LeBron Hayes. But
okay, man,
super fire. Like Pariah is one of the best breweries, or at least one of the best up and coming breweries in the city. They're very much taking over like I wouldn't necessarily say a Ballast Point role, but like somewhere in that range, right? Like early days of Ballast Point, like
I can see that. Yeah, I think it's fair.
Like them and Burning Beard and a couple of places that are like more on the up and come. Like Society's kind of pretty established at this point with how many GABF medals they've won, but yeah, I know Pariah. Like I feel like Pariah, North Park Beer Co. and a couple of those people are like all on that kind of come up.
Is based on the fan awards and industry, I didn't realize how popular and renowned Society is.
Dude,
like,
Society.
Maybe I'm ignorant because I'm just a Claremont guy.
Well, I know, and we grew up down the street from it, so it's like I knew about that place before it existed. Like, you know Mondo, right? You met Mondo,
yeah. Yep.
So Mondo, when we were like, this was got to be in I think that place opened in 08, so this was in 06 or 07. He sent me the links for the Facebook page before it opened. Like, we were well aware of that place before it opened, and then it turned into the fucking GABF goddamn like perennial contender that it is. So yeah, I remember going to that place, I think, and God, it must have been, I mean, I turned 21 in what, 2010?
Probably 2010, right?
Yeah, so I think that's either, it's like right around the time they opened. So yeah, I love me some GABF. I haven't even gotten to my beer. We're not a beer podcast, but we're getting
try
close.
to be.
Yeah, we're getting real close to being a beer podcast. Shouts to Four Brewers, actually, since we're talking about them. But I am drinking a beer, Chris. This is arguably one of the most recognizable San Diego beers, and arguably one of the ones that I think is the most overrated. Arrogant Bastard from Stone Brewing. Or I guess technically Arrogant Bastard from Arrogant Bastard Brewing nowadays, but
yeah, I remember if you look on the can,
it is actually Arrogant Bastard Brewing Company.
I forgot.
Or Arrogant Consortia. Sorry.
So someone at my work told me who owns them, and it kind of surprised me. I should know this, but it's like a brewery that shouldn't own them, but they do.
It's not Budweiser, but it's like a Budweiser.
Yeah,
it's like I want to say it's like the people own like one of the European brands who owns like a ton of shit.
It's not Heineken. I know it's not.
It's not Heineken, but it's like a Heineken. It's like I want to say maybe the people who own I don't want to just throw names out, but yeah, they got sold. Which, to be fair, that beer was kind of that beer is nothing like it used to be.
So okay, see, and I'm glad you say that.
Yeah,
someone told me this. They
it's
said,
so much sweeter.
They're like, when's the first time you had Arrogant Bastard? And I was like, well, I remember I turned 21 in 2012. One of the first bars I went to, legally drinking, of course, was Players in Claremont.
Oh, shouts to Players, dude.
Whatever, right?
My fucking
$3
favorite
pints on Tuesday.
Second favorite bar of all time, and that bartender was so dope.
Yeah, shout out to Brandon. I remember it was one of
that motherfucker was so tight. I think he still works at the Players, or at least for a while he worked at the Players up in North County.
My point is, I remember, when you're not a beer drinker, didn't drink a lot of beer, it's bitter as fuck. It was. It still was when I tried
back then it was bitter as shit.
So, am I wrong in that I think they reduce the bitterness, or is it because my palate is so adjusted to beers like 10 years later, basically?
It's both, but
right?
It's 100% less bitter than it used to be.
Thank you. I had to ask you because I know I was kind of feel like I was going fucking crazy over this. I was like, they reduced the bitterness,
100%, because it tastes closer to the bitter to sweet balance that Double Bastard did back in the day. Because Double Bastard was actually much sweeter, because obviously you have to add way more sugar to get the alcohol percentage. So there's a lot more malt and a lot more sugar in the Double Bastard, and it tastes a lot more like that than it did. Like, it was just like fucking tongue-scrapingly bitter back in the day. Like, it was aggressive as shit, dude. And Ballast Point used to be like very much more in that kind of like Big Eye IPA I tweeted about recently, actually. Because that was the first like IPA I had. Dude, Big Eye was so fucking bitter, dude. It was crazy bitter. Like it makes Sculpin look like a goddamn fruit bomb. It was ridiculous. So Arrogant Bastard, still very good, still very drinkable. It's arguably more approachable today than it was back in the day.
Because remember, overrated doesn't mean it's not good. It
just means it's very overrated, and like it's also not it's I don't know what they so qualify it as a strong ale. I don't think they do. I don't think they qualify it as anything anymore. But technically, it's a strong ale, which is a style you don't really see a lot of.
Yeah.
It's a pretty, like, weird niche style, but it's a lot of fun. I dig it. I just never buy it. But girlfriend Karen bought beers, and I wasn't about to drink the expired Golden Road IPA on the podcast, because that sounds awful. yeah. I go, hey, maybe grab like a Mickler or something from the store, from the liquor store.
Beer anecdote or notation before we actually even start talking about real MMA stuff.
Oh yeah, we're like almost 20 minutes in.
I was at Dirty Birds and OB just last week.
Yo, shouts to Dirty Birds.
That's and Mason and my brother Kyle, and they're like, oh, we got half off on pitchers, and I know Blake's like, all right, let's get something cheap. And they're like, how's Golden Road IPA? I'm like, nah. And then he's like, oh, god damn it, you beer snub. I'm like, no, motherfucker.
Golden Road.
And I was like, I don't like it because it's not that good, which I agree, it's not that good.
Yeah.
But it's because I went to Tecolote, hit some, golf balls at the range.
As
Their beer
do.
options are limited. I was like, okay, I'll try Golden IPA. I paid like overpriced $11-12 for like a 20-ounce can.
Oh no, that's like a $3
can. Hey, I don't like it because I overpaid for it. He's like, okay, that's fair.
It's also that's 4 times. It's like a 400% increase on the price of that motherfucker. It makes me feel very justified in my friends allegedly stealing a whole bunch of golf carts from Tecolote back in the day. Allegedly, they definitely
my own cooler of like just already pre-mixed shit,
right? Like no, my friends definitely did not take acid and then go to Tecolote golf course at like 1 a.m. and ride golf carts into the rivers and have all kinds of problems. I definitely was not there for it. They definitely didn't do it, and Trevor was definitely not involved. All right, now that we've talked about cool things that never happened. Why don't we talk about some MMA podcasts, I guess? Because that's what theoretically this show is about. Chris, have you listened to any MMA podcast that you should recommend people catch this week?
Yeah.
It's the dumbest. We have the dumbest fucking podcast, bro.
I'll just be quick. Shawnee podcast Q&A.
Hey,
I listened to that one.
I didn't catch that actually.
What episode was this?
That would have been Wednesday, whatever
Must
day
have
that
been
was.
March 3rd, I think was the episode. So just
Probably. That sounds like... Yep.
he basically quickly recapped Cyril Gane's victory over Darcina Rosenstrike. Then he basically just said Ali is a fucking sleazebag.
Gotta love independent podcasters.
Yeah. He said Petr Yan is the best fighter in the world off the break and landing shots.
Yep.
He gets out of the clinch. We definitely saw that. We'll talk about that multiple times.
Yeah.
Real quick. And then my main catch right here real quick. Heavy Hands 358 featuring Tom Elliott. Of course, from the Fight Site, if I recall correctly.
Yep. Moi Cowboy on Twitter. KAO, I believe.
They were just talking about who's the best striker Jan Blachowicz has fought. They all tended to agree that Adesanya will be too fast and counter him and pick him apart all fight. They said there's also the inherent possibility of Jan's chin being too much and Izzy losing confidence in exchanges.
Yeah. They're really on point for a lot of this stuff. Also, you guys will actually hear a clip on the break here before we get to talking about UFC 259, where they talk about Jan's blacksmith back from his days in Witcher 3.
Notice that he
Which
has
I'm very excited about.
And baby eaters.
Yeah, no, dude, I was the one that told you about. They're called. I don't remember who started calling them baby eaters when I was a kid, but yeah, the fucking
Dude, I used to at George's. He's really into like and physical fitness, but like mostly not weightlifting, but like just your own body.
Right.
And he's got some impressive baby eaters. He's never. But I said it to him, and he knew exactly what I was talking about.
I don't know where it came from.
He's like, dude, I'm sorry, that's one of the funniest things anyone's
It's
ever
my
said.
favorite.
He's like, baby eaters is amazing. And he's like, I don't know what that means. Like, dude, I don't know what that means either.
I don't remember where it came from, but
yeah.
I feel like I heard it in high school, but I don't remember.
Like, bro, those baby eaters are peeking over your He's like, what the fuck?
Dude, 100%. Oh, that's my favorite. But yeah, it's a great episode overall. I love Tom Elliott. I think this is his third appearance on the show, and yeah, he's always a great guest. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was fun listening. The dude's very knowledgeable.
Yeah.
So I had more notes. Like I said, it's tough for me to try to like take notes while I'm at work because like
sure.
when I'm doing at work, I have one AirPod in my ear listening to podcasts. Someone's like, "Hi, sir. Did you buy food first? All right, I'll take that." And I'm like listening to someone talking in my ear.
Right.
Or, like Pure and Simple IPA. All right, fuck face.
Also, shouts to Pure and Simple. Great IPA.
So, like, it's like, I'm like doing one thing, but then sometimes if it's too much and they're talking, I'm like, okay, sorry, I gotta take this shit out.
Yeah.
And then come back and listen to whatever the hell, Shawnee podcast is talking about. So, so it's a little difficult nowadays to try to take notes. But I try to make do with what I can.
One of the things that I loved that they brought up during the Heavy Hands episode, I think, what was it, 358? Is they talk about Petr Yan's psychopath confidence, which I thought was like
someone.
Yeah. I thought they had like the best read on that dude's confidence, which is that it's just fucking ludicrous. Like, and he kind of shows up in 100% of his game as well. And also the psychopath part showed up in his game this weekend, which we'll talk about later.
Yeah. And we have a lot to talk about with that fight that went down.
For sure. Do you have anything else on Heavy Hands?
That was it for Heavy Hands.
I will also shout out the Heavy Hands Patreon bonus episode for 3/4/21, which was the same day. And this is the one where Tom Elliott sticks around. They talk Makhachev Dober. They talk the Neo footwork ending with Casey Kenny calf kicking Don Cruz to a win, which almost happened, except Casey Kenny decided he didn't want to throw kicks halfway through that fight, and it drove me fucking nuts.
By the way, that's one of the few fights I was able to watch at work.
Dude, why does everyone stop leg kicking Don Cruz halfway through the fight? TJ Dillashaw also did the same thing, but then just forgot about leg kicks part of the way through.
I think it was, though, to be fair, TJ Dillashaw only did that in the last 2 rounds.
Well, that's the thing is motherfuckers don't stick to that game plan against against him. It's so frustrating.
You would think you're fighting someone who moves around a lot, and their entire game plan, or most of their defensive game plan, is based on movement.
Yeah, so your entire game plan should be corralling the two sides. So you have I would assume you would either throw kicks or hooks at both sides constantly to try and corral them into a space so that you shut down their movement. But nobody likes to throw to the body, and nobody likes to throw leg kicks consistently. So we have Dom Cruz. To be fair, we love Dom Cruz. I feel like we're being hard on Dom
congrats
Cruz.
on his win.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it,
Well, we're big Dom Cruz fans too. So it's like it's just so frustrating that like the game plan is so clearly there, and people have shown it, but people still refuse to do it against him. Anyway.
Oh, and by the way, real quick, shout out to Dom Cruz for putting on blast Hans.
Yeah, that fuckboy from Monster.
That piece of shit.
Yeah, fuck that dude.
Good job, Dom Cruz. And also Dana White doubled down and said, yeah, fuck you, Hans, you piece of shit.
Yeah, I saw that.
So that's the only time I'll ever agree with Dana.
Yeah, that's about the only time. Unless Dana's going to start.
Dana, now's your opportunity to talk shit about Kadyrov, but...
Oh, are you kidding me? He's too busy sucking Kadyrov's dick. He's like, yo, you know who has good ideas? Me and Kadyrov. Yeah. Fucking also, hey, dude who's coughing up blood, why aren't you fighting yet, bro? So.
Kadyrov's like, Dana, I will threaten his family.
That's right. I heard his family is gay, so they are dead.
Yes.
I hate that joke. I want to immediately retract that. It's not funny, and it makes me feel bad. I don't want to immediately retract that one. All right. Well, the last thing I was going to say is their Benavidez Askarov breakdown on the Heavy Hands Patreon was really good as well. Do you have any other catches for this week?
I have a can't miss, and what's ironic,
is it BYM?
It has nothing to do with MMA. It's MMA. It's an MMA podcast, but it had nothing to do with MMA this week.
Is it BYM?
No.
Okay, so I will say my other catch for this week then is BYM episode 299, which you guys heard on the intro, where number one, Bisping breaks the news that Dana is trying to put the pay-per-view card at the end of the month in Houston with fans and sell out the arena.
Capacity.
And then Luis J. Gomez is jerking off to the idea because he's a fucking idiot and a mouth breather. I love Lewis, but he's so dumb. And he just cannot stop fucking himself. But
like, if you're fucking vaccinated, why you can't support that idea?
Yeah. Well, it's fucking Texas. I mean, Jesus. But first off, we pulled the clip because Bisping is a responsible adult who understands science and listens to people smarter than him, which is refreshing and needed in the sport, evidently more than...
Can I give one quick thought real quick?
Yeah.
Because it's in. So, I don't have an NFL team anymore since the Chargers left, and it's been great. That's why I won fantasy football this year and won a lot of money. That's besides the point. My point is, if you follow the NFL, the Houston Texans NFL franchise is the worst run organization in the league, and that's mainly because the owner is a hardcore Christian, and guess who he listens to? Not his general manager. He listens to a fucking pastor who's in his ear, and this pastor tells him what to do. And
like Joel Osteen or somebody?
Yep. And guess what you'd have to say? If you're Dana White, if you're smart, like the NFL ironically did for the Super Bowl, even though they could have been lying, people who attended the Super Bowl allegedly were all vaccinated. Do I believe a lot of them were vaccinated? Yeah, I'm sure. But were the majority of them? Probably not, knowing the NFL. My point is, if Dana White wants to save face, just lie and say you have to be vaccinated to attend. And there you go. Then it looks less like a piece of shit.
God damn it, Chris! You're just helping.
I'm not trying to give them ideas, but it's like this is what you do. And if you don't do that, you can just be a Houston Christian asshole like Joel Osteen or the fuck else from Texas.
You're so right, and it makes me so mad.
Jesus, if you believe in Jesus Christ, your Savior, COVID just goes away.
That's right. You are not allowed into my.
You believe in Jesus Christ. You will not get Cobra, all right?
You are not allowed into my church during the storms or hurricanes, but you for sure can come to my church to pay me.
Yeah. Pay me more money as I fuck you from behind, and I'm not gay.
Hey.
Because that's not the way of Christ.
People hate gays, and I am not one of the gays, despite my constant dick sucking on camera.
Yeah, it's like but you know what I'm trying to say. It's like,
No,
yeah,
I know. I hate
if
fucking.
Jesus is real, he loves everyone. That's the point.
If
And
Jesus
guess
is
what?
real, he would kill the fuck out of those
Tell you
idiots.
that. You need money.
If God existed, he would kill fucking grifters. But maybe that's a different podcast.
Zero would be dead. There'd be a lot of
That's a good argument, Chris. Ali probably wouldn't be around either. All right. On that note, we are way off topic. I do believe this is a great.
All right.
I think this is a great segue from Believe You Me because I think we're basically just doing Bisping bits at a certain point.
Believe you me, buddy. God isn't real.
Yeah. Hey, I heard Callum said that when God spars, he looks like a shuffling zombie. I'm just kidding. That was something Callum said to Lewis during the episode, which is really great. They talk about the Bisping video.
Jesus Christ. So full circle.
There we go. I mean, he is a zombie, yeah, 100%. Fucking jeez, I hate everything about this. Bisping did talk a bit about the Rockhold video, and he's like, I mean, like...
I enjoyed that.
Yeah, it was cool. He's like, I don't mean, what are you going to do? Like, you have two options, and every time you're in a weird situation like that, you can either be quiet and make it weird, or you can make a dumb joke and just kind of everybody is cool about it. And it very much kind of encompasses, like, career Bisping, right?
And I don't even really feel like they felt awkward at all. Like, maybe it was internally, but it's like, it seemed like they're just like, oh, hey, man, how's it going? You know, good to see you kind of thing. Even if it's genuine or not, like, they're teammates now, essentially, or just gym mates, whatever you want to call it.
Well, and also they're both, you got to remember, friends with DC, and DC is buddies with both of them nowadays because of the commentating gig. So
it's their coach, their friend, mentor now. And shouts out to Jason Perillo for being a great MMA guy. Coach.
Well, and Jason Perillo just being an all-around good dude based on...
I didn't realize Mackenzie Dern's there. I saw that in one of those videos.
That's why her boxing has been looking much better.
Mackenzie Dern was was boxing with Cheeto Vera. It's interesting.
Dude, that's... You want to get better, move around with Cheeto Vera for a bit. But maybe in the second round, not the first round, because otherwise you're probably going to fuck him up. That was it's a Cheeto Vera joke for the fans out there. God, I love Cheeto Vera. I think the first I heard that interview with Cheeto Vera. I forget who it was with. It might have been Ariel back in the day. Nah, I want to say maybe Aaron Bronstetter. Yeah. But there's that great interview with Cheeto about his daughter and her smile and all that stuff. And I was actually walking around the Japanese Friendship Garden in Balboa Park when I listened to that, which is like one of the most surreal things I've ever done. It's a very weird contrast to hear Cheeto talking about like not only fist fighting people, but his daughter's smile while walking around the garden. It's very weird, but it's very cool. I recommend it. If you ever come to San Diego, look up Cheeto Vera videos and walk around the Japanese Friendship Garden, I guess. Or just go to the Japanese Friendship Garden. That place is tight. Let's see. Other stuff about BYM. Reem and JDS getting cut. They talk about 259 a bit. And Bisping, by the way. Okay, Chris. I almost put money down on this. I actually would have put money down on this, except for I had an old Bovada account. They deactivated my old Bovada account. I then tried to use the Fight Sites code, and Bovada would not let me use the Fight Sites code. And so at that point, I was like, all right, I shouldn't bet on this because I thought it was a sign from the gods. And I was right. Bisping had the greatest parlay of all time that was the closest to hitting, maybe, of all time that I've ever seen. Listen to this parlay, and you'll realize how fucking close it was. So the bet he put down, because his buddy let him know about it, it was $200 to win $50K.
Oh, Jesus.
And the bet, the parlay was Rakic by decision, which happened. Islam Makhachev by decision, which happened.
No, that was sub.
Really? Oh, you're right. You're right. He did sub him.
Submission.
I forgot about that. Okay,
yeah,
then that would have broken
like
an
shoulder. It was a shoulder press, or whatever they call it. It was like basically it looked like a head and arm triangle.
Yeah, no, it was the head and arm without finishing it. Yeah. Izzy versus Jan to go over 2.5, which happened, and Jan to win against Aljo, which was like almost gonna happen.
So does that mean they just missed on the Makhachev?
Well, no, Jan didn't win because he got DQ'd.
Oh, Piotr Jan. See,
Yeah,
I'm thinking
other
goddamn
Jan, other
Sorry,
Jan.
Blachowicz.
Yeah,
Excuse
yeah.
me. The goddamn Jan.
That's why I said Jan Versaljo. Yeah, but
Thank you. Sorry, I'm not.
no, I got you. But like that. First off, that was a really good parlay.
Yeah.
Even though it didn't hit, like that is so playable.
Yeah,
that,
200 to fucking risk 200 to win 50 grand.
Dude, I was gonna put $10 down on it, or $20 down on it, that never wanted to see again, CME style, because I was like, that's such a playable line. But Bovada fucked me, and then technically unfucked me because they wouldn't let me do it. Although I think it means I need to send Ed Gallo $10 now, but regardless. All right, we're not doing skips anymore because I don't. We tell you if we're skipping a show nowadays. You know what I mean? It's
gotta
who it
be
is.
very unfortunate for us to let you know.
Yeah, if we're talking about it, it's probably Brian Callen being rapey. So,
did you enjoy that one edit? I sent you that
oh
one.
god, dude. To be fair though, what Chris is talking about is there was an edit. Someone on Reddit did a very, very weird Brian Callen return edit where they essentially did some really tricky editing and hid it behind a couple cool effects and basically made it so there was a lot of long pauses and weird reactions every time Brian did something weird and rapey. But then again, Brian also in that same episode, not edited, in the actual version, puts his ass up in the air and says, "Do you want it? I don't know the definition of the word no." You're like, oh god, bro. That is
what was the part where he's just like this? What the fuck was
dude,
going on?
it's the
I was like,
worst.
what?
But like, yeah, no, that person is a problem, and everyone should be fucking not cool with it. It's a problem.
Yeah, and then
Jesus
he also
fucking
has
Christ.
fellow persons that he cut ties with immediately, which also screams,
Oh, yeah.
I'm also guilty by association.
Well, you
Because
know,
what does that mean? We're like, I've never hung out with him. And then, like, did you see the video I sent you too? I've never hung out with this guy, and it shows videos of him like just together. And I know you don't talk about,
well,
but,
and
like, said person.
Brian
you know.
got named in the fucking latest D'Elia lawsuit.
Yeah.
Like by name as like trying to fuck kids.
It's
bad people.
It's bad.
So
They're all
this is why
trash.
we don't talk about skips anymore, is because it's gotten to the point where I don't want to publicize any more than they're already around. Fucking pedophiles. So so I guess our permanent skip is pedophiles or Nazis. Really. Go ahead and pick which category any of the JRE family falls into, because it's probably one of them. All right, now that I've completely fucking went off the rails, Chris, do we have a can't miss episode that you recommend?
Yeah, so
because that was aggressive as shit, and I regret saying it.
So mine is a caveat to it.
Yeah.
This is a fantastic podcast. However, this episode was not MMA related. It was Best Camp of My Life, episode 18.
Wait, 18 or 19?
18.
Really? Which one is?
Yes.
Which one is that?
So her and her boyfriend, I can't remember his first name.
Rodrigo Del Campo.
Thank you.
You should say fiance. Congrats to them.
Fiance, congrats. She calls him
As
Boo-Boo.
of this weekend, they actually got engaged. So,
well, congratulations.
congrats to Fernanda
I
and
thoroughly enjoyed this
Rodrigo.
episode because they rewatched Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, I talked about this last week. Yeah, it's great, right?
Yeah. I wanted to listen to Best Camp of My Life for a while, and I don't know if this was the most recent episode. That's probably a
It
week
was the one from last week, but yeah.
Okay. I enjoyed this. This was hilarious. They talked at the beginning of the film. But let's talk about the telegram Liu Kang gets. It just says, "Brother dead, come home."
Yep.
Fernando was like, "What the fuck is that?" And Rodrigo's like, "No, you need to understand. It costs more money for extra words."
Well, because Rodrigo's old like I am, where he remembers the telegrams were at least a thing, even if they never saw them, really.
They talk about, I know Fernanda says she never really played the games that much. I think Rodrigo said he played the games a good amount. He said, yeah, Johnny Cage in this movie had the perfect blend of douchebag and nice guy.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's the classic Johnny Cage, like, he played it perfect.
And by the way, for those who play Mortal Kombat or ever try to play it, he's a top 3 character of all time. People realize, like, as far as, like, his actual tier, like, that's a thing. Like, Johnny Cage is a very good character in Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
I mean, Yeah, he's an asshole, but he's good.
No,
They said
he's a dick, but
yeah,
that's
Cameron
the
Diaz,
gimmick.
I didn't know this, was originally cast as Sonya Blade.
I didn't know that either, but it makes perfect sense in retrospect,
They
right?
got,
Like that era of 90s.
Bridget Wilson Sampras, I believe is her name. She also known as, to me at least, Veronica Vaughn from Billy Madison.
Right. Oh, gotcha. Know exactly what you're talking about now.
Bridget Wilson Sampras. She was married to the
That is correct.
Yeah. That Veronica Vaughn is one piece of ace. And then Christopher Lambert, who's like a Belgian actor, I believe. He's from Highlander. He was Highlander, I think. That's what
Makes sense.
He was the big name actor in this film, and he played Raiden. I just remember his ridiculous accent. He's like,
go ahead and say that name again.
What?
Go ahead and say that name
I'm
again.
sure it's Christopher Lambert.
No. Who do you play?
Raiden?
Sorry.
Oh, you mean Raiden?
Yeah,
That's
who I mean. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, Raiden. But
Fucking
they call
Raiden.
him Raiden.
Yo, bro.
They call him Raiden.
To be fair, that's because they're cops.
Yeah. Anyways, Christopher Lambert. I mean, he's Belgian.
No, Lambert is correct. I'm fucking with you about Raiden.
No, yeah. But I just remember in the movie as a kid, I just remember he's like this: "You must participate in Mortal Kombat." Like he had like this fucking awkward like combat.
Yeah. He almost has a Willem Dafoe kind of delivery.
Except that Willem Dafoe is actually a good actor.
No,
Anyway,
yeah, but sometimes Willem Dafoe goes off the reservation.
see, an example: Norman Osborn, Spider-Man.
Oh,
Great.
I was gonna say my best example is Wild at Heart, where you hear deep sound coming out of old Baba Peru.
That or To Live and Die in L.A.
There you go. Yeah.
The guy, he grabbed his dick. Is this your package?
Yeah. A lot of Willem Dafoe dick film footage actually in retrospect.
Hank Dong, so I'd probably make a lot of dick jokes too.
Dude, I love me some Willem Dafoe.
Willem Dafoe. They love the practical effects in the movie. They said the final battle was just whatever. Yes. Fernanda loved the weird ending because it's essentially just a commercial for the Mortal Kombat 2 video game or arcade game.
Which, by the way, the better Mortal Kombat game. Just like Street Fighter. 2 was better for all of the...
And Rodrigo says,
games.
I fucking hated the Mortal Kombat theme song, but I admit later it slaps.
Oh, yeah, it's a banger. The fucking super synthy, like, club version of Mortal Kombat that's in the movie. Yeah, it's a banger.
Curtis Blades, who I think still walks out to Mortal Kombat theme, which also reminds me, like I told everyone before.
Yeah, and he got Mortal Kombat uppercutted in his last fight. Yeah.
Yeah. My point is, if I were a UFC fighter, I would still, to this day, walk out to the theme of Space Jam. I did see the new stills from Space Jam 2, which I will not acknowledge, with LeBron James.
Oh, you mad because the bunny not hot?
Yeah, right. That whole thing. All the fucking assholes.
Everybody's an idiot.
Bunny,
I wanted to fuck rabbits. I guess I shouldn't be yelling that on a Sunday night.
They're like, this, like, we got him.
Yeah, 100%. Yo, if that's what they got me on, they fucking up. But yeah, no, it's ridiculous. Everyone's a child.
Yeah, but yeah, I thought that. Yeah, it was entertaining. Fernanda Protges and her fiance are hilarious.
Yeah, they're great.
I did rewatch Mortal Kombat a couple months ago during the beginning of the pandemic.
Right, I remember.
Sure, but it's also fucking stupid.
Yeah,
and I say it because you and I are definitely going to watch the new one.
Oh, 100%.
And we're going to enjoy the shit out of it. I know it's going to be fucking stupid as fuck, but
yeah.
it's going to be...
No, we're going to do a commentary for it.
Like, fatalities.
Yeah, we're going to do a commentary for it, and we may or may not be doing some drugs for it, I've heard, allegedly.
Fun stuff.
And not our regulars. So that might be a fun thing. We'll see if we record that or not, or if it's recordable.
Good for everyone else. It's going to be audio only because you don't want to see us.
Oh, no. Well, yeah. No.
Fun stuff, I'll call it.
Yeah. I heard you're a fun guy.
Yeah.
On that note, I think we should talk about something else. Okay, I have a can't miss episode, Chris. It is, come on now, episode 244. It's fucking such a smooth segue. You guys see how I'm just slipping and sliding in and out of these transitions?
Very sporadic.
Yo, call me a Z-boy because I am just sliding in and out of transitions. That's a skateboarding reference that'll come back around in a bit.
Heath Ledger.
No, you fucker. I hate you for bringing up that movie, you piece of shit. I hate that movie. The goddamn documentary is so beautiful, and the movie's such trash fucking such a piece of shit. Oh, you're the worst. Speaking of people and dumb comments, come on now, episode 244 was a lot about Casey Kennedy's dumb comments with Megan, and then the UFC did nothing. Trent Reinsmith makes the argument that Kenny should have been moved to another event because Megan did nothing wrong and she's in a fucking title fight. And by the UFC not doing anything about it, they're basically consenting and agreeing with what he said, which is embarrassing. He argues that they're essentially sending the message: you can say whatever you want and you won't be held accountable, which is 100% true if you're white. Let's see. They also talk about Cody Garbrandt getting kicked off a Southwest flight for not putting on a mask.
So I saw that. Was because he didn't have a mask on, or like they wanted his
child
to take 2?
His kid's almost 3, and the rule is anyone over 2 needs to wear a mask.
Oh, I didn't know that.
It's widely available knowledge, and Cody Garbrandt just didn't look into it, and so he acts like a giant baby because he can't read, I would assume. I'm just so fucking tired of these people, and it's always the dumb people. Like, you know who?
I like you, Cody, but come on.
Well, it's just like it's all of the dumb people. Like, it's always the dumb. Cody Garbrandt's never been called smart by anyone in the MMA sphere, and it's always those fucking people. It's always the Tito's. It's like Joe Lozon. Not having these conversations about Joe Lozon. Not having these conversations about Leslie Smith. Not having these conversations about Demetrius Johnson. Like, it's nobody that can pass an IQ test has to have these conversations. It drives me fucking nuts. So, if you're dumb, we're going to start calling you dumb. And Cody Garbrandt proved to be dumb. Speaking of... I'm not even... You know what? We're going to get to that later, because I'm not even going to mention dude's name, or else we're going to get way off track.
Never met him.
No, not even that one. I meant more... well, it's a whole ass conversation that's going to come up when we recap the card. Let me put it that way. God damn it. Trent Reinsmith says that the new DraftKings deal is literally costing the UFC fighters money because they should have gotten a piece of it. And I don't know if you noticed during the card, it was made a big deal of, like a huge deal of. And the UFC fighters saw absolutely none of that money, even though it's theirs. So that's embarrassing. He also talks Conor selling his shares of Proper 12, which I think is a very smart move because Conor's career is done as far as real competitive fights. And I think...
Well, I mean, I saw Dana's comments about... Sorry, I'm stressed out because he's just ruining the lightweight division because he's just like, oh, it's going to be a 7-man tournament. You know, Habib's going to come back. And
we all know
Conor's
Dana loves
fight
tournaments.
Dustin, and then Beneil's going to fight a top guy, and then maybe he gets a title shot. And then I'm not going to mention Charles Oliveira at all because
I don't know his name because he's brown.
Yeah, that too.
I mean, if we're being honest, right?
Yeah. Oh, fuck. God damn it.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Anyway, so the reason why I think Conor selling his shares of Proper 12 is probably really smart is because I think that brand's never going to get better than it is right now.
Yeah, no.
It's a trash whiskey, and everybody who says it's not a trash whiskey, I argue that you either don't drink whiskey or you just 100% want to suck Conor's dick. Also, shouts to Chuck Mendenhall, who I think is still mad at us about the mentioning that he's just like taking fucking promo pictures in his office with Proper 12 saying he got it from a friend, which is like, I'll say it's what I should have said in the original tweet rather than adding MMAJA and asking if Chuck is just literally doing promos for a fighter's whiskey, and Chuck Mendenhall getting very fucking pissy about it. I will say it is at very best a questionable use of journalistic integrity to post just you sitting in your office, literally focusing on like with a promo picture for a whiskey of a fighter. I don't know, but my point is, That brand is never going to get better. It's a bad whiskey, and
it's not even like he tried to make it good. It's aged 3 years.
Well,
like,
and it's by Jameson. Like, everybody acts like he at all has any part in any of this. It's Jameson. I mean, it's not Jameson. It's sorry. It's the other. It's Bushmills, I think.
I believe so. Yeah.
I believe it's Bushmills. It's because it's a Jameson competitor, essentially. It's basically Bushmills wanted to try and see if they could break into the Jameson market of like that brand of Irish whiskey. And it didn't work because it's complete trash.
Because what's funny, it's like
and it's coupled with grain alcohol, right?
I'll say this: I don't drink Irish whiskey, and it's not because I don't dislike it. I just haven't really like sought out good Irish whiskey.
Well, there's also not.
Can you answer this
like
for me?
Redbreast. Redbreast is the good one.
Redbreast.
Yeah.
What do you think of the Sexton? I had that.
The Sexton's all right.
It was pretty good. Yeah, I enjoyed it. I thought I liked it. So
yeah,
that's why I ask you, because I just don't drink. I don't seek Irish whiskey.
I don't either.
I'd rather just have Scotch or just like bourbon.
Yeah, I don't really fuck with Irish whiskey too much, just because it's already so like mellow. Like, everything good is gonna taste like shortbread cookies, and everything not good is gonna taste like paint thinner. And there's like very little in between on that. Guess which one Connors is in? It's not the fucking shortbread version. I don't know. It's fine. Irish whiskey is Redbreast is great. Even just Jameson is like I'll absolutely fuck with the shot of Jameson here and there, or even a snifter of Jameson if I'm really trying to be. I'll go with a fucking what the fuck is the name of the? Why can I not Glencairn glass of Jameson? Like, Jameson's totally approachable, especially Jameson Caskmates. The fucking stout Caskmates of Jameson is dope, and it's like $1 or $2 more than proper 12, and it's not just like fucking complete trash. People who like that don't drink whiskey, and they always say it in the videos too. If you notice, people who say it, they're like, "Oh, proper 12 is pretty good. I don't drink whiskey," but you're like, "Yeah, bro, it's because you don't drink whiskey, and you think Jack Daniels is legit." Anyway, come on now, episode 244. Now that I've gotten completely off track and just shit on whiskey brands for a while. Let's see, Chris, do you have any other can't misses for this week?
No.
I got a couple others, although I have 0 notes on them, and I've got a good reason why. The Fightful live stream for the Gone vs. Rosen card. Fernando Prachas and Shaq Majori, I apologize if I'm butchering Shaq's last name. They did a live stream for the UFC card last weekend with Gone vs. Rosen, and it was a fucking blast. I don't have any notes because I was just hanging out in the chat talking shit, and I just had a great time. Nanda was drinking, I believe, Negronis for most of the day or a good portion of the day ahead of the stream, and so it makes for a very fun episode. And yeah, I mean, if you guys want my thoughts on it, they're there in the chat if you go and watch it. It's just a great time. And speaking of great live streams that have been happening recently, the Body Locks UFC 259 live stream fight companion from last night, since we're recording this Sunday, Matt Wells, Dan Tom, and oh fuck, what is dude's name? I'm gonna have to look this up right now while we're talking, because I cannot remember my dude's name who was there with them. I want to say Mark, but there's too many people named Mark in MMA podcasts. Jake Nichols. Wow, I was wrong. Mark was in the chat with me is why. Mark Fellows. Shouts to Mark Fellows. We out here drinking bitter beers. But Jake Nichols was the other person hosting it, and yeah, just a goddamn blast. It was a lot of fun. Dan Tom, okay, let me figure out how I'm gonna phrase this without saying things that I shouldn't say. Dan Tom took over the Ant Walker role of eating, let's say, chocolates or other items that may or may not have been altered. Okay, fuck it. Dan Tom ate an edible, which is because he's like, I had some booze earlier, not really feeling it. So I think he even shouted us out saying, the Sound of Violence guys will like this. I'm eating a monkey bar right now. Which, by the way, I did some research. So, monkey bars, according to the internet, are by Incredibles. Great fucking pun nickname for a weed brand. And it is described as the monkey bar is a chocolate edible loaded with bananas and walnuts, but the taste is more average than it sounds. The high is usually potent and euphoric with soothing buzz in the body. A lot of people got past the flavor when they start feeling comfortable in the high. It's supposed to be a mood booster, a couch crasher, and helps in zoning out. And I believe Dan had all of that motherfucker on stream, which really segues well into the second part of this story. First off, I should shame everyone in that chat for not knowing what Lefroy was. Not only did they not know what Lefroy was, they didn't know how to pronounce Lefroy. Y'all need to step up your...
The Scotch, right?
Yeah, they need to step up their Isla Scotch game. And also Lefroy, for those who don't know, is a Scotch that I believe one of the marketing campaigns that they had, they described it as drinking Lefroy is somewhere along the line. This is a paraphrase. It's somewhere along the lines of making out with a walrus who loves smoking cigars. Because it's just like so like weird and sea salty and funky and like smoky because of the peat. It's a very aggressive Scotch. It's like on that like very aggressive tier of Scotch.
Because I've had some peated Scotch before, and I remember before I tried it, they're like, "Oh, it's like you're drinking cough syrup."
Yeah, you've definitely you get Band-Aid, a lot of Band-Aid on it.
Yeah,
that kind of notes. Yeah, 100%. I love big Scotches like that. I drink them very sparingly. Like I still have a bottle of Freud that I'm working through from I don't know a year ago at least, because you can only have so much smoky Band-Aids in your life. It's not really it's a sipping cocktail, but it's not really a regular. But Lefroy is great. That being said, the reason why this episode is a can't miss for me, despite all that, is number one, it was just a blast hanging out in the chat. But number two, Dan Tom tweeted today that he went to the hospital for a rib injury. That he got in jiu-jitsu yesterday before the fight. I believe it was it was before the fight. It was either a Friday or Saturday. And so he just basically powered through the commentary and with the rib injury. He did duck out, I think, before the co-main, which makes sense in retrospect. And it turns out it's not I believe via the latest tweet from Dan, it's not an actual break. It was just like basically old like injuries kind of flaring up and stuff. But dude, if I couldn't tell that Dan Tom was suffering a rib injury while he's hanging out and doing an entire ass podcast for the fights, I'm going to go ahead and say it's can't miss episode. I already love me some Dan Tom. You got Matt Wells in there. I enjoyed Jake a bunch on there. And it was just a blast anyway. So the fact that Dan powered through it on a giant injury is fucking impressive and worth shouting out. So everybody go subscribe to the Body Lock on YouTube because they are doing awesome shit. And their live streams, the Fightful live streams, the Body Lock live streams are like two of my favorite things that are currently happening in the sport. They are an absolute blast.
Oh yeah.
Let's see. Chris, do you have any new shows this week?
I do not.
So I have two, but one of them you might have heard of before. As a matter of fact, I know you've heard of them. The Man and the Myth is back. I don't know if you heard about this.
Excuse me. Yes, I have heard of the Man and the Myth.
I know you have, but I didn't know if you know they're back. They're now
I did not know that.
Yeah, so they're now independent. They've had about 8 months off, I believe it was. And so the time off kind of gave Chuck kind of a break from the sport and kind of refreshed his kind of interest in it, which I feel like a lot of people need, especially people who cover it long term. I know we do it. That's why we take weeks off here and there. It's just because if you cover it every week, you start fucking wanting to kill yourself. Or at least at least in 2020, it gets fucking brutal when you're like, oh god, everyone in the sport wants to kill everyone because they're uneducated. Great, this is great.
It makes me want to get illegally kneed in the head.
Yeah, it does. It does. It feels like it would be a sweet, sweet relief to be completely unconscious sometimes. Yeah. On that note, some things that are big changes in the show, but are notable in the way they brought him up. Unfortunately, Chris, and I know this is going to be the worst part about this for you as it was for me, producer Chris is not involved. Which is such a bummer, right? Like, producer Chris must be...
Chris the producer!
Yeah, Chris the producer must be very, very well compensated at all the gigs he works at, because he is, number one, I would argue, a top 10 MMA podcast producer, hands down. Maybe top 5. Just on his own. And number 2, I mean, TJ Santos is number 1, and then everybody else can fight for the other numbers, as far as I'm concerned. But number 2, oh my God, like, fuck. He every once in a while, he starts hosting podcasts, and they are always so good when he's on them. And then he just disappears because no one can, either the stations break down or the people can't afford him. But God damn it, someone hire Chris the producer. Holy shit, I like that. That dude should just have a podcast. I would listen to Chris the producer's podcast.
Yeah, I would as well.
Seriously. You know what? I might have find Chris the producer's goddamn Twitter. I'll ask Fernanda for it or something. However, the good news is Tyler is actually the producer for The Man and the Myth, and he was the OG producer before Chris on their old show. So at least he has like some familiarity with the show and was like on at the beginning. They're going back to twice a week, Mondays and Thursdays, which is huge. I'm very excited about that news. Also, they have a new Patreon, so I would recommend everybody go subscribe to that just to support them. They say nothing's behind the paywall right now. They're just they basically put the Patreon up because they need funding. And so they do have DraftKings ads, and they have Roots of Fight ads, which I'm sure will help subsidize some of that, but they definitely, I'm sure, need Patreon money as well. And yeah, man, it's a podcast I hope continues to exist in the sport, because it would have been on our 2020 list, probably somewhere in there. Maybe like it would have been in top 25. I don't know if it would have necessarily been like discussed in top 10, but I love Man and Myth.
Yeah, it's good to have him back, and
yeah, and it's right back into the swing of things with him, really. Like, it feels very much like the old school days. Like, talk about Rosen never really pushing the pace to get a win and trying to actually do anything against Gane. He kind of just coasted. They talk about Chris the producer's love of Cyril Gane and how he's way ahead of his time. They review their picks for who would have won by who would be champ at the end of 2020, as well as they give their new picks for who's going to be champ at the end of 2021. And they talk the Triller card as well of essentially all boxers embarrassing MMA fighters is what it sounds like.
Yep.
So, yeah, really fun.
Nice.
The other new show I listened to this week is the best show I listened to all fucking week. And I cannot emphasize enough how much you guys need to go subscribe to Between Rounds. I'm telling you right now, this is the best show I've ever heard. Chris, I don't know if you listened to this. I texted you about it right before we started. This is the best show I've ever heard, and it also comes with a retraction from last week, or a correction rather, because I completely fucked up last week. Number one, I mentioned The Neutral Corner with Eve Edwards as a new show last week. I've listened to that show a bunch of times. It's just been off for like 5 months, and I forgot that was the name of Eve's show with TJ Santos. However, that being said, Eve Edwards did come out with his new show this week, which is the one I thought I was talking about last week, which is called The Once Over. And The Once Over is a podcast where I believe I'm positive, I know it's produced by TJ Santos, although he doesn't actually appear on it. But Eve Edwards sits down with one or both of the fighters in a fight, and he goes over their fight with them live, which is cool as shit. And this one is Jim Miller versus Joe Lozon #1. And holy shit, is this not the coolest thing I've ever heard. I cannot explain to you guys enough how fucking good this episode is. To be able to hear, number one, if you guys have seen this fight, you know how fucking insane the fight is on its own. But to be able to hear Eve Edwards ask questions of Jim Miller and Joe Lozon while the in real time rewatch the fight on Fight Pass is one of the coolest fucking things of all time. They talk about the lead up. They talk about having a shorter camp. Eve then cues up the fight with Jim and Joe, and they give their thoughts while they're rewatching it. So Jim talks about like, oh, in the lead up, I was doing a ton of pad work, which of course, if you guys have seen the fight, comes into a factor. Joe Lozon mentions the fact the commissioner was a dick about his hand wraps in the back, which again, if you guys have seen the fight, you know it comes to be a factor in it. Joe talks about constantly trying to keep his lead foot on the outside and pull the hand to try and double up. And then Jim talks about working the calf kick, which, by the way, Jim Miller out here calf kicking Nate Diaz and fucking Joe Lozon in like 2013. So I don't know what the fuck y'all talk about calf kicks being new. But they talk about that a bunch. Joe, of course, if you guys have seen the fight, which I cannot emphasize enough, you need to watch the fight with it because it's so good. The fight is so good, and the discussion on it is so good because Joe bleeds fucking everywhere. Joe blames it on the fact that he eats like a fat kid. They joke about how he looks like a Walking Dead extra. Let's see. They talk about how when you're I should have pulled this as a clip, actually. Shit. Maybe you guys will hear this as a clip next week, but they talk about when you get cut, how the world looks yellow, and and the smell, you can just smell and taste the blood. Like when you have blood in your eyes, they say everything looks yellow, and you can just smell and taste the iron. It's like fucking, dude, it's so brutal. They talk. Jim Miller explains why he thinks Joe Lozon explains why he thinks the fence kind of ruins rubber guard. They mentioned that they were talking mid-fight to each other about how awesome the fight was. It's just the goddamn best, man. I could not... and Joe at the end of the episode mentions that while he's not saying he's retired, he's not fighting during COVID, but he'd be willing to fight again afterwards.
Okay.
Which, again, smart. The smartest fighters I've ever heard speak on microphone are very responsible about COVID. Yep. Every single one of them. It's very rare to hear super smart fighters say ignorant shit about that. And I feel like that should be emphasized. So, the Once Over with Eve Edwards is my new favorite podcast. And if you guys are not subscribed to Between Rounds and actively looking for that show, I don't think we can be friends. Because it's the fucking best. Jesus Christ. I cannot emphasize, like, if you take nothing away from this podcast, go fucking listen to that episode. It's the coolest. So, that's what I got. Chris, do you have any honorable mentions you want to throw out there?
Yeah, Jack Slack episode 11 was good.
Yeah, 10 and 11 were good.
Submission Radio had an interview with Luke Rockhold that was pretty interesting. There was a story of him... his friend, Luke Rockhold's friend, got his car stolen in a certain part of LA. And he said he had to go to the hood and do a stealth mission in which he was able to successfully steal his friend's car back.
That sounds like he robbed from brown people, but okay.
I mean, yeah, he wasn't going to admit that.
Brown or black? I'm going to guess he said... I mean, we all know.
He didn't say anything that like connotated race, but like he was just basically like
he did. Like, he said the neighborhood, right? He said South Central, right? He said South Central or the hood.
He didn't say that. No.
The hood?
He just said the hood.
Yeah, that's
he said
arguably worse.
Ghetto. He said ghetto area.
That's like, worse. That's worse.
Like, okay. I mean,
fucking rich ass white.
Yeah.
Fuck that.
And
so
just basically
Luke
like
Rockhold talking about
people,
stealing from.
And I was like, oh boy.
Yeah, Luke Rockhold stealing from brown people.
And of course, Casper is like, oh, it sounds like a fucking mission from GTA. I'm like, oh no.
I mean, to be fair, at least no one did a Lamar impression.
Yeah, right.
Dude, Lamar is the best part of GTA. Fight me.
You and your haircut.
Fucking Lamar in GTA is the best. Anyway, what else you got?
Yeah, he says he's been dealing with like a torn labrum in his shoulder for the past while, and he just wants to get back into the fight game. Good luck to that guy. Which is crazy because I thought at one point that dude would go on a big title defense streak.
I did not. I was curious how he was able to survive with 2 skills for that long, which is kicking and top game.
Actually,
It's all he can do is kick and have a top game. And then all of a sudden he fucked up his shin so bad he can't kick anymore. And that was the end of that.
But that's about all I got left.
Let's see. Some honorable mentions I got a whole fuck ton, but I'm just going to sprint through them. Co-main event episode 442 was super solid, talking about UFC 259 and 260 both happening in March, and a bunch talking about Jan Blachowicz. They also mentioned Aljo's power trash neck, which was definitely not helped by the giant fucking throw he took onto the head from Jan. TSN MMA show episode 198 was super solid. Aaron and Joe talk a lot about the fights at 259. And they also mentioned that something I didn't know. Megan Elite, we probably won't cover this because it's like barely an MMA podcast, but I'll listen to it and I'll let you know whether or not we're going to cover it. But evidently, Megan O'Leary and Joseph Benavidez have a podcast called At Home with Ben O'Leary.
Yeah, I saw her post something about that, I think a week or two ago.
Yeah, so I might listen to it. I feel like it's not going to be, knowing them, it's probably going to be a lot about coffee and dogs, which like sounds like a great podcast, but it's not necessarily something we'll cover. So we'll see how that goes. Weekly Scraps episode 116. This is the Aljo's podcast. He talks about the lead up to the fight. He does kind of hint that he's injured in this. I don't know if you caught that. He doesn't necessarily say he's injured, but he's like, oh, everybody comes into fights with bumps and bruises and but the way he trails off about it is weird and noticeable. He also seemed to be having a little bit of mobility problems late in that fight. I don't know whether I don't know if they're related. I also might be reading too much into him just trying to say everybody has injuries coming into a fight. You know what I mean? It was just the way he said it. It felt weird and it stood out to me. So I don't know. Maybe go back and listen to it. Let me know what you guys think. MMA ratings episode 197, really solid breakdown by Schwan Humes and Rafael Garcia of the card overall. Really enjoyed it. Submission Radio, March 3rd, 2021. They had Israel Adesanya's coaches on, Eugene Behrman, Andre Paulette, and Frank Hickman. It was a pretty dope episode. Fixed Fight Podcast, episode 54, with Kurt Chase Patrick and Ben Abrigo. Pretty fun episode overall. One thing that I thought was really interesting is they talk about they called Jan the Polish Cinderella during that episode, which I thought was pretty fucking dope. And in retrospect, man, Jan Blachowicz ruined a lot of motherfuckers' nights, I feel like. So we will get to that. Best Camp of My Life, episode 19, Shaquille Majori, a.k.a. Shaq from the Fightful 1-2 Punch podcast, guested with Fernando Praches. They talk about Paulo getting hammered. They talk about Shaq's old podcast with Kajan Johnson. And they hint that Nanda was going to be on the watch party for UFC 259, which she was as well. And if you guys want to hear Fernando Praches talk about machetes, you're welcome. Go listen to it. You're welcome. Also subscribe to Robert Evans. He's the best. And he's everyone's goddamn guru. Buy a machete and bolt cutters. Okay. Severe MMA episode 301 was really solid. Also, shouts out. I'd like you guys to officially recognize the number 13 ranked Severe MMA Fantasy League member, me.
Definitely not me. I'm
crushing it. I'm surprised I got 13 I got a couple big fights wrong. But I'm pretty good at fantasy shit. And I'm way better on not pay-per-view cards because no one actually researches small cards. So I'm coming for that ass. Anybody 13 through 1 on the Severe MMA rankings, and you're going to catch these hands. It's actually, I forget what the actual app is, but it's pretty cool. I dig it. And Chris is hopefully going to get his picks in next week. I did love the fucking tweet you put out.
I couldn't even sign up because I was.
No, you already signed up. I'm friends with you on it.
Are you serious? Dude, I just tried to access today and it didn't say anything.
I think it was because you might have been too late to do the picks for that card.
I'll have to maybe resend me the link or I'll
we'll see because I'm friends with you on it. So you got to be in there somewhere.
Okay, I'll figure it out.
Yeah, I don't know. Chris is although by the way, that fucking tweet was hilarious. I'm not gonna.
My
lie.
response.
Yeah.
I didn't know how else to respond.
You made me laugh super fucking hard at that. That was great. You should be running our social media instead of my delinquent ass. Because I'm just burning I'm burning everything to the ground every day. So.
Come on, Pookie.
Yeah, seriously, dude. That might as well be the gif of our Twitter. It's just me burning everything to the ground every day. Let's see. The other things I had is Verbal Tap MMA episode 449. Kai Kamaka guested. He talks about Hawaiians willing to fight as soon as they hear the word fight yelled out. They talk about Gordon Ryan slapping Galvo, and they talk about him moving to Vegas. It's a really good episode. I highly recommend it. Speaking of really good episodes, MMA on the Rocks episode 230 is super solid. Unfortunately, Bill and Jeff watched the Rosenstruik versus Cyril Gahn main event live during that episode. So you can expect how that goes, where they just eventually start talking about whiskey halfway through. But Bill is drinking Bell Mead bourbon, which sounds fucking delicious. And it evidently is also the MMA on the Rocks 2020 Bourbon of the Year. So, shouts out to that. I'm going to have to pick some up because Bill Welker might have the best whiskey taste in all of MMA. I'm going to go ahead and throw it out there. You know what? I'll go ahead and say definitively he has the best whiskey taste in MMA, and I'll fight anybody who says otherwise because I think I'm probably number 2. The Fight Site MMA podcast, episode 39, is super solid. They had Jeremy McLaughlin on. He's a pro MMA fighter in Oklahoma, but he's also trained at Jackson Wink and with CKB, City Kickboxing. So he had some interesting takes on all the CKB guys that were fighting, which I think there was 4 of them on the card. And so that was a lot of fun. The Fight Site UFC 259 staff predictions with Ed Saram. I was going to try and attempt Saram's last name, but I think I'm going to bail on it. I don't think I'm going to do it. Muralidaran? I think it's Saram Muralidaran. I'm going to go with that. Fuck it. I'm probably butchering Saram's last name. But it was Ed Gallo, Saram, Ben Cohn, and Dan Tom did their picks for the kind of the main fights on UFC 259. Really solid, as well as Protect Your Neck, episode 248 with Dan Tom. Super solid. So, highly recommend listening to all of them because they were a blast. And just a fucking great week of podcasts. I think the next week's going to be just as good since I feel like there's going to be a lot of content coming out of that card. I think everybody's very kind of when there's that good of a card, I feel like everybody kind of gets reinvigorated by the sport, right?
Yeah, I'd say so. That's fair.
Perfect. Well, let's see. Before we get to our break, do you have any well-rounded picks you want to shout out? Since we forget to do this way too often. I know number 1, it's a PS5, and how fucking fast the loading times are.
Yeah, that's definitely a thing. It's been check out if you're one of the few people who has a PS5, get Destruction All Stars. It's like a game that's on PS Plus. It's pretty rad.
Yeah.
It's basically like Wreckfest or like Burnout meets Overwatch.
Yeah, it's very
abilities.
Yeah, it's very much like that. It reminds me of there was a PS4
I know Blake
game.
told me it's almost like because he played. It was like I wouldn't call it Twisted Metal, but he said there was that one game on N64 called like something 8 with like a RV
Vigilante 8.
Vigilante 8. Yeah.
Vigilante 8 was dope. Vigilante 8 was weird because it would be like it was like PS2, right? It was old, maybe
he
PS1.
Said N64 or PS1.
Yeah, maybe it's PS1. It was. Yeah. I remember playing that way back in the day.
Because I remember there was the original Wreckfest on N64, which is called Destruction Derby 64. It's the same company. Great. I played that a lot as a kid. That was a fantastic game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, check that out. I just got the new Assassin's Creed.
Which one?
And luckily, I had played Origins like a year or two ago. Because I hadn't
Origins
played
is Egypt, right?
Yeah, I hadn't played an Assassin's Creed game since they went full RPG.
Origins is supposed to be like one of the best of all time.
I never finished it, but I had a lot of fun with that game. And so far, the Viking setting is fucking great. The music's amazing.
Dope.
I think it's the composer who did the music for the show Vikings on History Channel. Did it for the game, and Kyle, my brother, he's a massive fan. He's a massive fan of the show Vikings, and he was watching. He was like, "Yeah, bro, it's almost like watching the show." And he was like watching it play. He's like, "Oh, I know what the fuck that is," And it was kind of cool. And
What's that?
It's definitely a fun setting. And by the way, shout out to anyone that still wants an Assassin's Creed of Japan. Please stop, because Ghost of Tsushima exists. So just stop.
I mean, and they literally named those dudes like fucking some kind of military rank of that island after creating that game. Do you see that?
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're like, oh,
so
okay. That's some.
Ubisoft is like this,
Yeah.
like, okay, we're done.
Yeah.
Like,
For sure. You want to shout out any restaurants or anything?
restaurants.
You got any recently? I mean, I'll say El Portal near your pad is fucking fire, but
I'll be honest, dude. I'm glad you said that, because I need to go back there. I haven't been there in a long time.
El Portal, which is like, by the way, what, like 3 blocks from you? It's like down the street. But
yeah,
El Portal is fucking
Mexican
fire.
food, I used to just go to Cotijan, but no, El Portal is very underrated.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, it's still there for a reason.
Yeah. And honestly, it's been getting better somehow, which is rare for San Diego food
I
places.
recommend there as far as their food items, because I went there as a kid a lot.
I always go
just
California every time I'm there.
Cali,
Because I'm always fucked up. I was always fucked up coming out of your guys' old place. Like at
That
like
apartment.
4 a.m. Yeah, so I'd just get a Cali burrito and then eat that and pass out for 10 hours.
Checks out.
Yeah. You know how those nights used to go. Fucking
know.
100%. Also, if you guys have watched any San Diego skate video, you might have seen those apartments. I'm pretty sure. I feel like they were in like half of them. Well, I guess that's a great segue, Chris, because my well-rounded stuff is a bunch of 90s skate videos. Skateboarders HQ did a top 40 skate videos post, and I've been watching a lot of them because that's my fucking youth, is growing up as a punk kid getting chased by cops in San Diego. And a lot of the places we would skate were literally places in skate videos because San Diego is kind of known for that. I mean, shit, the Carlsbad Gap, right? And also just Pete Smolik pulling over all the time trying to get people to hit handrails. Because that motherfucker definitely got a couple of my friends to eat giant nut shots on handrails on camera. But I will say, if you guys have never seen a skate video, you should 100% go watch Misled Youth from Zero or Shorty's Guilty. We will have them added to the we do a playlist on YouTube for every episode, and that way, like for all the podcasts we talk about, and I'll add those to it as well. They're just so goddamn cool, and man, it's such hard 90s vibes, especially like 90s San Diego vibes. Like there are some spots that if you've been to San Diego or you grew up in San Diego, you know specifically a couple of those places where you're like, huh, I sat on those stairs. That dude is doing an insane 5-0 down, which is pretty goddamn cool. And also just a great video. Fucking gorgeous music, bunch of Slayer and fucking Bohemian Rhapsody's in there. Fucking, it's so good. Every time I hear the UFC intro song where they use Bohemian Rhapsody, I just think of Jamie Thomas nose manualing. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, also Transworld cinematography video is pretty tight. The other things I wanted to shout out this week, we talked about the beer awards with the beer night in San Diego guys, which are absolutely fucking fantastic. Let's see, I've been smoking a lot of Urban Zen's White Runs. It's like I think $85 for a half ounce, and it's fucking fire. So if you're in the Southern California area, speedy weedy, get some Urban Zen. That shit's fire. What else do I got? I've been making smash burgers, Chris. I don't know how many smash burgers you've had.
I saw one photo. Yeah. It looked good.
I've been going. I've been making more burgers than I'm willing to admit on camera right now. I've been making a lot of goddamn burgers lately, to the point where I'm probably gonna get a flat top.
I was gonna. Have you been watching like First We Feast? I know because they had like that one.
Oh
burger
yeah. George Motes, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I watched his documentary. Yeah. Shouts out to here. What's George Motes? It's burger. What is it? Hamburger America. George Motes Yeah, it's Hamburger America from George Motes. You know what? Fuck it. I'll add this video to our goddamn playlist also. Here. Added. Or it will be after I'm done. Yeah, fucking great. I've been making a ton of burgers. It's dope. I kind of just missed I'm trying to be really responsible about COVID shit, so I have not been going out. But god damn it, do I miss dive bars and diners so bad, bro. And so my kitchen is basically a dive bar / diner currently, and it's been great, but also problematic. And then lastly, the only other thing I had is if you guys are ever in Pacific Beach, go to Charlie's Best Bread. God damn it, is it good. Just like some local bakers down here that are a couple blocks away from me that I actually grew up going to. I didn't know the place was still around. I just found out recently. And, if I can buy bakery, like bread that's made daily from a bakery for like $1 more than the Vaughn's bread next door, and they make hella challah, I be eating challah on the rigs now. So, get yourself some challah bread and step your game up is my point, I guess. Chris, we have gone way off the rails. You ready to take a break and we will do this 259 talk? Because damn it, was this card good, man.
It was good. All right, I'm ready.
All right, well, we will be right back. And until that time, you guys can listen to this clip of, oh, good God, what the fuck was the clip? Oh, that's right. We get to hear about Jan's blacksmith back that he earned during The Witcher 3. So, listen to that, and we'll be back here in just a bit, talk UFC 259.
Liked by the sound of violence.
If Kyle is listening, Tom, he's about to cream his jeans at this. He's got a Bob Fitzsimmons physique.
Oh,
you know, Kyle, that. You know what I mean? He's got really scrawny legs, but any power he has comes from this big, broad back. He just has like a blacksmith's back, like Bob
I
Fitzsimmons.
was going to say it's from his days blacksmithing in Witcher 3.
Yeah, Jan Blachowicz will whip out horseshoes to entertain the crowd. He'll just bust out a horseshoe in 3 minutes flat.
by the sound of violence.
If Kyle is listening, Tom, he's about to cream his jeans at this. He's got a Bob Fitzsimmons physique.
Oh,
You know, Kyle, that. You know what I mean? He's got really scrawny legs, but any power he has comes from this big, broad back. He has like a blacksmith's back, like Bob
I
Fitzsimmons.
was going to say it's from his days blacksmithing in Witcher 3.
Yeah, Jan Blachowicz will whip out horseshoes to entertain the crowd. He'll just bust out a horseshoe in 3 minutes flat.
by the sound of violence.
If Kyle is listening, Tom, he's about to cream his jeans at this. He's got a Bob Fitzsimmons physique.
Oh,
You know, Kyle, that. You know what I mean? He's got really scrawny legs, but any power he has comes from this big, broad back. He has like a blacksmith's back, like Bob
I
Fitzsimmons.
was going to say it's from his days blacksmithing in Witcher 3.
Yeah, Jan Blachowicz will whip out horseshoes to entertain the crowd. He'll just bust out a horseshoe in 3 minutes flat.
the sound of violence.
If Kyle is listening, Tom, he's about to cream his jeans at this. He's got a Bob Fitzsimmons physique.
Oh,
You know Kyle on that. You know what I mean? He's got really scrawny legs, but any power he has comes from this big, broad back. He has like a blacksmith's back, like Bob
I
Fitzsimmons.
was gonna say it's from his days blacksmithing in Witcher 3.
Yeah, Jan Blachowicz will whip out horseshoes to entertain the crowd. He'll just bust out a horseshoe in 3 minutes flat.
By the sound of violence.
If Kyle is listening, Tom, he's about to cream his jeans at this. He's got a Bob Fitzsimmons physique.
Oh,
You know Kyle on that. You know what I mean? He's got really scrawny legs, but any power he has comes from this big, broad back. He has like a blacksmith's back, like Bob
I
Fitzsimmons.
was gonna say it's from his days blacksmithing in Witcher 3.
Yeah, Jan Blachowicz will whip out horseshoes to entertain the crowd. He'll just bust out a horseshoe in 3 minutes flat.
Liked by the sound of violence.
If Kyle is listening, Tom, he's about to cream his jeans at this. He's got a Bob Fitzsimmons physique.
Oh,
You know Kyle on that. You know what I mean? He's got really scrawny legs, but any power he has comes from this big, broad back. He has like a blacksmith's back, like Bob
I
Fitzsimmons.
was gonna say it's from his days blacksmithing in Witcher 3.
Yeah, Jan Blachowicz will whip out horseshoes to entertain the crowd. He'll just bust out a horseshoe in 3 minutes flat.
About it all.
Liked by the sound of violence.
If Kyle is listening, Tom, he's about to cream his jeans at this. He's got a Bob Fitzsimmons physique.
Oh,
You know Kyle on that. You know what I mean? He's got really scrawny legs, but any power he has comes from this big, broad back. He has like a blacksmith's back, like Bob
I
Fitzsimmons.
was gonna say it's from his days blacksmithing in Witcher 3.
Yeah, Jan Blachowicz will whip out horseshoes to entertain the crowd. He'll just bust out a horseshoe in 3 minutes flat.
About it all.
Liked by the sound of violence.
If Kyle is listening, Tom, he's about to cream his jeans at this. He's got a Bob Fitzsimmons physique.
Oh,
You know Kyle on that. You know what I mean? He's got really scrawny legs, but any power he has comes from this big, broad back. He has like a blacksmith's back, like Bob
I
Fitzsimmons.
was going to say it's from his days blacksmithing in Witcher 3.
Yeah, Jan Blachowicz will whip out horseshoes to entertain the crowd. He'll just bust out a horseshoe in 3 minutes flat.
All right, we are back.
Yeah, we are.
And I'm drinking a beer that is expired. So we'll see how this goes. I already don't like Golden Road, I'm not going to lie. They're a bad brewery owned by bad people. But they just suck. I didn't buy this beer for myself. But it's also expired. So we're going to find out how bad the expired Medianoche IPA is. Which I believe Medianoche is like afternoon.
Yes, it is.
That's how that translates, right?
Yeah. Yep.
And it expired on Best Buy February 24th, 2021. So we're going to see how that goes. Also, shouts to Kyle McLaughlin in the chat, not the actor. But the good Kyle McLaughlin, as I like to refer to him.
So, I have a
Kyle actually got name dropped in that last clip we just played, which is goddamn hilarious. Now I think about it by heavy hands. So it really came full circle.
I have a special beer.
Okay, this is where everybody gets very excited or very nervous for Chris.
It'll be more excited.
Okay.
Mainly because I don't think you can buy this in stores.
Okay.
I don't. So, okay.
Are you directly connected to it?
No, I am not. But a good friend of mine is.
Okay.
I'll say
even
this
more
is,
intrigued.
And this is a nano brewery that's under the umbrella of AleSmith. This beer is canned and brewed by AleSmith.
Is that on the record? Like, is that known? Or are you breaking that news right now on accident?
Yeah, you know what? Maybe I shouldn't.
Well, you just did it live.
I mean, on the can, I'll just say this. On the can that's in my hand.
Does it say AleSmith?
It says, yeah, brewed and canned by AleSmith.
Then you're totally good.
Then I'm fine, right? Yeah. And they even have their own Instagram.
It's not like, too. Yeah, it's not like
They have a fucking
It's not like
because I'm
other
looking-
news we've almost broken.
No.
If you know what I mean.
So this brewery, it says on here, it's the name of the brewery.
Okay, cool.
Instagram.
I just wanted to make sure you weren't blowing up your friend.
No. Anyways, it's called Cerveza Azteca.
Hey, dude, that's a dope can. Holy shit.
It's like Aztec Empire kind of stuff.
Yo, that's a dope can.
Yeah, follow them at Cerveza Azteca on Instagram and all that. This is a very delicious Mexican lager.
That is a dude.
Aztec,
I love that labeling.
Empress, I can't remember her ruler.
Sure, I'm not gonna try and correct you or add anything of note. I'm too white to do that, Chris, and I don't know the history.
But yeah, I've had this beer many times, and it's
Really? Is it like a classic, like German lager style Mexican lager?
Now that you say that, it's similar to like a Bohemia. Yeah.
Yeah, like I mean, a lot of most Mexican lagers are generally have German roots. That's kind of the history of Mexican lagers.
Yeah.
So
There's like a lot of emigration from like Germans that went to like Mexico, right? And they started brewing a lot.
right,
like that.
right, yeah, because a lot of Mexican beers prior to that were like all corn based and a lot more. I'm trying to think of a good example, but I can't off the top of my head right now. But yeah, no, it definitely a lot of German influence. I mean, you can see it in almost every fucking. Just the fact they're bringing lagers alone, you know.
Yeah. Anyways, a good friend of mine, his friend worked for Cerveza Azteca, and that's why he always gets him some beer.
Interesting. Where is Cerveza Azteca?
I think he's in North County.
Is it?
Somewhere in North County, yeah.
Really? I would have never guessed North
I'm
County.
gonna look him up. I just realized I don't even follow him on social media. But I like this beer a lot. I've had a lot of this beer whenever we've been playing wiffle ball, like the baseball fields or whatever and shit.
Oh, they're in
because-
Logan Heights.
Oh,
Or wait,
okay.
they're on Logan Ave. But I'm guessing
This
they're
beer
in Logan Heights.
is perfect for like.
I guess
the
technically
sunflower
there's
seeds.
Sigsbee Row because we have way too many fucking. Wait, Sigsbee. I didn't even. Do you know we have a Stockton in San Diego? Am I losing my mind? We have a Stockton in San Diego, evidently now. I feel like that we have too many neighborhoods at this point because I don't even know all the neighborhoods here. It's right by Sherman Heights. It's not far from Fifth and Rose or the K1 spot down by like right off the bay. But yeah, dude, that's tight.
Yeah, it's really good with like sunflower seeds or something really salty food pairs with this well. It's really
I'm
crushable.
sure.
and
Like that sounds like a perfect taco beer.
Yep, yeah, I like this beer a lot.
Hell yeah, man.
Yeah, so I have honestly no idea if you need to go directly there to get the beer. I've never seen the stores. I've never asked.
I've never seen it. You know, I would have grabbed that just off the label alone. But
It's
holy
cool, yeah.
shit.
And they've had some other beers that I've tried too. There's one with like a lowrider on it. That's like a hoppy lager that he's
Shit, man. I might have to swing by that brewery and pick up like a case of something because that sounds like perfectly up my alley when it comes to. I've been going so much less hoppy and so much more like lagers and pilsners lately. Like I'm almost all lagers, pilsners, and stouts at this point. Which you probably know from my fucking orders from your brewery. So yeah, man, it's that's awesome. I'm definitely gonna check that out. This Golden Road it's fine. It's passable.
yeah. It's the one I tried at Teccolodi.
It's exactly what you think it would be. Like, you know what I mean? It's not. It has nothing to speak of. Like, it's not bad. It's not oxidized. It's not flavorful. It's not good or bad. It just is. Like, technically, yes, it is an IPA, and technically, it is beer. But, like, it is the most unremarkable beer I've had in a very long time.
Yeah, that's how I felt when I tried it at the golf course. It's like, it's just super mediocre.
It's like almost so mediocre that it's not even worth speaking about, to be honest. It's so boring.
And really quickly, what's awesome about Cerveza Azteca, the brewery, I'm looking at their page. It's Latino owned and brewed and operated, which is great.
Nice.
And they make coffee.
Oh shit! I bet they have awesome Mexican hot chocolate too. If they
It's
make
called
coffee.
just Azteca coffee. They got whole beans.
Fuck yeah! Oh shit! I'm definitely gonna.
Yeah,
go to
check
that
out
place
their
then.
page. This is pretty rad. But yeah, the one, I think it's just the two beers that they have right now. It's just the Azteca, the one I'm drinking, the Mexican lager, and then More Bounce is the hoppy lager, the one I've tried with the lowrider on it.
Shit, man.
So yeah, so
oh,
they're
dude,
very
more bounce. Actually, I've seen a picture of that. It might have been from you, actually.
okay.
I want to say, well, somebody I know posted it.
Dude, maybe I've had it on like the podcast a long time ago. I just forgot and was fucked up.
It's possible, dude.
That's probably what it was. Yeah, I gotta check this place out. I know even if it's just the 2 beers, like I'm down to just support local businesses like that.
Hell yeah, that place.
I mean, this beer
great.
is fantastic. This is a solid Mexican lager.
Yeah,
So.
to be honest, we are a city that is shockingly lacking in decent Mexican lagers for affordable price points. Like, the best we've had in a long time was, like, the Sublimely Self-Righteous, which is not great. It's so corny. And I don't mean that in the fact that it's sublime, but also...
Wait, you said Sublimely Self-Righteous? Because that's a Stone Black IPA. I think you just mean Sublime Mexican Lager. I was so confused.
You're right.
It's just called Sublime Mexican
You're
Lager.
right. I totally combined the two, yeah.
I was like, wait, what?
Yeah, the Self-Righteous is the black IPA from Stone, right?
Yeah, it's just called
Which
Sublime.
they did just re-release. You're right, it's the Sublime Lager. But yeah, that thing is like, it's fine, but it tastes like corn tortillas in a weird way. That like it probably isn't supposed to.
Like the one we have in New English, the Por Favor Pilsner, it's essentially like a Mexican lager influenced Czech.
No, that's like a classic, like, Czech German kind of, like somewhere, like just one of those clean finishing lagers. Anyway, we're not a beer podcast. Now that we've done, I don't know, an hour on beer, I guess. We've done a solid 10 minutes on beer just now. Well, congrats, y'all. That's what we're here for. Also, if you guys have not checked out Lefroy, I'm going to go ahead and give a plug for Lefroy again, since evidently a whole bunch of MMA media has never even heard of or seen the word Lefroy, which is embarrassing, and y'all need to step your Scotch game up. You know what I'm saying?
I don't want to hear just how an actual person from Scotland would pronounce it.
Oh, no, it's Lefroy.
Okay. Oh no, I know. I'm sure that's how it sounds, but I just want to hear in their accent. You know, like how they would say it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, to be fair, people from Scotland sound better saying everything.
Well, yeah.
They're
You're not wrong.
Yeah, they just have prettier voices. If we're being,
I might as well just go marry a Scots woman or whatever you call it. I don't know if that's the proper
definitely
term.
a Scots woman. I bet that's what they love to be called, or a Scots.
Yeah.
A Scots female is probably their
American
favorite.
and like, you're English, clearly, right?
Yeah.
Just get slapped.
Yeah. Just call her from the UK and see how that goes.
You're a Brit, aren't you?
Yeah. Anyway, this is a great segue into our recap of UFC 259.
Yeah, so I'll let you go ahead and start these first two, because I think these are the only 2 fights that I did not see.
Yeah, so these first 2 fights were actually pretty goddamn wild, for what I remember, because this is when I was still relatively sober in the night, so I do have some notes. The only really thing of note from the first fight is that Mario Batista had a semi-decent round. I thought a lot of this fight was going to end up with Trevin Jones getting stuck in the clinch, which he did. And just like kind of not being able to get off at range. And then in the second round, he hit a whole ass lead uppercut that absolutely melted Mario Batista and pounded him out with a couple shots, and that was a wrap. Yeah, just impressive finish from Trevin Jones. I don't know what it really means for him in the long run. I don't know that I learned a lot from watching it. That's a good-ass win. And that is that dude's 4th win in a row, including an ACA win over some dude named Mehdi. Because we don't count
Jones.
Yeah, we don't count the Team Valiev weed problem.
No, didn't Trevin Jones? Does he have a win over James Krause, or is that someone else I was talking about?
No, he has wins over Timur Valiev and Mario Batista. He had a win in Deep, a win in ACB.
Okay, I'm thinking of someone else.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm thinking of Trevin Giles. Excuse me.
Exactly. Yeah.
Just realized that.
But nasty fucking knockout with the lead hand, and DC and Rogan putting a lot of emphasis on too. Is he a southpaw? It's not really a southpaw. I don't know that I buy that shit. I think DC and Rogan make up a narrative and then kind of get lost in that. I know Rogan does, but DC is susceptible to it. And, I don't know how much faith to put into that. But you can absolutely bet on Trevor Jones having heavy fucking hands. And while that dude is like, he didn't have a great first round, but the finish was super impressive. Up next, we had Alan Cruz taking on what's his fucking first name?
Uros Medic, or is it Medic?
Medic. Yeah. This was a wild ass fight. Alan Cruz doing exactly what he does, which is throw fucking big sweeping kicks from the outside. I mean, it is what he was always going to do. The thing I figured is Alan Cruz is not quick enough to knock it out with counters, especially since he sticks on the outside and just throws big sweeping kicks a lot of the time. And yeah, that's kind of how this went. He just kept missing from the kicks on the outside, but he started landing he landed the counter right hook to the temple super early on, wobbled him super bad, and then from then it was just wild as shit. He clipped him with a couple of short rights on the clinch break shortly after that, and then Mark Smith let Medic beat on him for an extra 60 fucking seconds after. He was already so wobbled and couldn't do much of anything except barely engage in wrestling exchanges. Yeah. The commentators, while Joe and everybody in DC have a tendency to kind of, over-exaggerate absolutely everything in the booth. It was... The dude just got clobbered for a legit extra 60 seconds for no reason. So, while I get that he was moving, he did fucking nothing. And if I remember right, that was the fight that afterwards they showed the stat of 48-0 in the striking. Although that might have actually been no, it was that fight, right? No, I'm pretty positive it was that fight that it was 48-0. Yeah, it was not fun to watch after a bit, so that's a bummer. This next fight went weird.
Can I say one quick thing?
Yeah.
If Brendan Schaub, and I don't have any desire to hear any of his commentary thoughts after any of these fights, but I almost would guarantee you he would try to be thinking he's clever and be like, bro, Uros Magic? You mean, can someone call a medic? Haha, you know what I mean? After that fight, B.
Dude, you have to know how to spell medic first. And I think you are underestimating his ability to not put a K on that word.
I was going to say, I think I'd have to say, I think even if I spared him a K, he'd probably still get it right.
Yeah.
I mean, wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I just feel like that's just a setup for a terrible attempt at a joke by Brandon Schwab.
Yeah. So. I know what you're talking about, B.
Yeah.
Speaking of people who can't pronounce things right, Amanda Lemons fought Livia Natasuza, and oh boy, did this fight!
That was I saw this one.
What'd you feel about the stoppage in this? Because it felt a little early.
Yeah.
I mean, like if it wasn't a women's fight, that wouldn't have gotten stopped at that point.
Was it early, as in? There was a scent or smell of booze and cigarettes, or was it?
I really enjoyed that one.
Yeah, or is it just like what kind of early we talking? Because I thought it was definitely kind of early.
It was early, but not unjustified. Is how I would qualify it. Like, I get it. Like, it was gonna go that direction after that point, but also. Fucking dude, you're gonna stop a fight off a jab and a couple ground and pound shots that didn't really land that clean.
Yeah,
like,
that was just
that's a kind of a weak ass stoppage. That being said, fucking Amanda Lemos looked absolutely on fire in this fight. Super long jab and front kicks from the gate, like right out the gate, immediately pressuring Souza against the cage. She knocked her down with a right pretty fucking early on. She also then dropped her with the jab a bit later after a scramble, and then Herzog called it. Like, on the rewatch, it's less egregious than it was at the time. At the time, I was pissed. I was like, it's a bullshit, like, we don't want to see women get hit kind of stoppage, which happens in MMA more often than it should. But in retrospect, like, she did get dropped not that not that long prior. Like it was within a minute or so that she got dropped right before that with a right, and she got dropped with a jab, and she was shelling up on the ground and just taking punches, but like right on that edge where it's like, I get it, I'm not mad about it, but I probably would have let it go a little bit longer just because I think. Plus, if you know anything about Olivia Notasusa, like she's such a goddamn gangster about everything. Like you know, like I hate this argument, but I would have liked to see her at least get a chance to react.
Yeah.
Which I feel like she didn't necessarily get. So, not mad at it. I'm never
fair.
mad at less head trauma, but because I don't necessarily think she would have won that fight either way. But, yeah. I don't know. I feel like if it was two men fighting, it would have gone different with the ref. So, maybe that's
It's
just
fair assessment.
after that, dude, this fucking Sean Brady, Jake Matthews fight.
All I'll say is I remember Sean Brady being impressive the other times I've watched him fight. I had no clue he's now 14-0. I didn't even know he's undefeated.
Yeah.
All I'll say is
His wins in the UFC have gotten more and more impressive. His last one
sounds
coming
corny.
off of Jake
This is-
Christian Aguilera, but the Ismail Nardiev, the what's that dude? Austrian Wonder Boy, is that his nickname?
yeah, something like that.
Yeah, that win was huge at the time.
All I'll say is if I'm Sean Brady, if I ever win the title at welterweight, I think they fight at welterweight, right? Just make your nickname Tom. Sean Tom Brady. Just, why not? If you're gonna stand.
Yo, that's not the worst argument, apart from Tom Brady being the worst. But I don't care about football.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's actually a good point.
I don't care about football. I think
I'm just saying as far as
I
like,
just colloquially know
greatness,
that
right?
Tom Brady is trash. So
oh no, he is a
everyone-
trash person.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
he took out a PPE loan and
Yeah.
bought himself.
Oh,
a
you
yacht.
mean like unlike Joe Rogan and all of his fucking
Yeah.
flunkies?
another trash people.
Yeah, yeah. Shouts to Aubrey. Shouts to Brendan Schwab. Shouts to fucking, I'm sure, Red Band if people looked into it. Anyway.
Oh no, all upsetting. Yeah, impressive victory though. Holy shit, Sean Brady looks great.
Yeah,
just
holy
dominant.
shit. Dude, and also getting the arm triangle almost completely from half guard to the point where he already has Jake Matthews gargling and then stepping over definitively to
And by the
side
way,
control and
do
getting
you see the
finish.
fucking
Jesus.
back and baby eaters on Sean Brady?
I was gonna say you want
He's
you
only
want to
like
talk about
5'10".
some baby eaters, dog. That motherfucker is trapped.
Dude, he's kind of built like a shorter Usman. Honestly, that dude is built.
He's so, and his lats are ridiculous. Like half of that dude's choking prowess just comes from his lats alone. It's ridiculous. That dude is also, I would argue, some of the best tattoo work on the male side of the UFC.
I did notice. So I when I first glanced, I'm like, his tattoos are all over the place. They're a mess. But I was like, wait, but it's
Some of
really
the-
fine work. Though, like detailed wise.
Yeah,
It's
and like he
good
does
artwork.
have some grayscale stuff, and like it's not bad. Like it's no Megan Anderson level, but like
It's funny
up
in
there.
hindsight looking at his thumbnail on here. There's like no tattoos.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. You're
Looks
like,
like,
what? What are you
looks
talking
like Spike Carlisle back in the day.
about? Oh boy.
Oh,
no,
you boy.
Oh no.
Oh man. I was gonna say, speaking of problematic, but that's the fight after this.
Yeah.
Kennedy and Jukwu. Oh, this fight with Olberg was absolutely insane.
This is a wild one. I know Ulberg is from City Kickboxing.
Is he?
Yeah, he's one of Adesanya's main training sparring partners.
Crazy. I did not know that, but that makes sense because
Yep.
it seems like a lot of Adesanya's training partners are not great defensively.
Let's just say there's one that had a
I can think of
great
two.
walk-off win.
Yeah.
This card too.
I can yeah, well, but I mean people he's actively sparring with. I can think of two of them, and they're not very great defensively.
Yeah. Anyways, this is an entertaining fight. It was very scrappy. It was almost just like it's just
was
fucking
insane.
stand and bang.
Yeah, I mean, it. While I think it is a terrible game plan for Njoku to go into this fight basically just using a high shell guard and eating all of the damage to wear out Olbeck. Or Olberg, rather.
So you have the Darren Elkin strategy.
I know, right? I mean, no, we're more than that. It was like he literally just shelled up behind a high guard, and it took Olberg like a round and a half to even think about punching the body. And by that point, he was already gassing super hard.
Yep.
On rewatch, Kennedy really didn't take all that much damage. Like at the time, it seemed like while you're watching it live, it feels like it just piling and piling and piling on, but he really didn't get caught with much of anything. Like a couple snuck around the side, but most of it was deflected off the forearms, and like dude didn't go to the body at all for like a round or a round and a half. And then you see Olberg start slowing down, and Njoku, to be honest, in the first round did better than I remember. He did pretty solid. Oh shit! Dan Tom coming in chat talking about he wanted to mention some skate videos, and if we talk about skate videos, he did drop arguably the best technical skate video of all time outside of maybe Cheese and Crackers. That's like the closest you can even argue with Cheese and Crackers, but Rodney Mullen versus Daewon Song round 2 is a fucking banger. Like anybody,
Like, dude, I never skated growing up, but I'm down to watch that.
Oh my god, tight. Chris, we are going. Decided we're gonna do a commentary of Rodney Mullen versus Daewon Song round 2. Dan Tom just inspired. You know what? We'll try to get Dan Tom on that motherfucker if he's free.
That'd be fun.
We should do that. That would be cool as hell. And man, I've not seen that in probably a decade plus, probably longer than that. But yes, I think that's awesome. And Dan Tom, we're going to get you on a video to do a commentary of that whenever you're free. Because that would be so fucking fun. And also, we're drinking beers. I think you know this, but we're drinking beers. You know what? We'll send you a care package of some San Diego beers to make that happen. How about that? He says, anytime. All right. Sold. We are good. That is going to be a blast. I am very excited. All right, back to what were we talking about, Chris? I got distracted by Dan Tom being adorable
impressive
in chat.
Win by Kennedy and Njoku. This next fight had some controversy to it. Alleged.
No shit, it did. I wouldn't call it alleged since we heard it on mic.
Well, I remember that's based on
alleged based on whether or not we know if Tim Elliott is accurate or not. But
so basically, it's whether he's lying or not.
But it's either way. It's probably team hashtag fuck Espinoza, right?
I mean, yeah, probably.
Like I'm gonna go hashtag believe all women and say fuck Jordan Espinoza real hard, and it was really satisfying.
Also, just lean
seeing him
on
get beat
the
fuck up.
more or less chance that you're not just going to be fighting someone and just accuse them of being a woman beater. No one just going to just pull that out of left
he said
field.
he said he got a message in mid fight, as we heard. He said he got a message from the woman who he choked.
Yeah, he's like 2018. You choked your girl.
Yeah,
you woman beater, motherfucker. And he's like, your girl messaged me. He's like, and the guy, of course, is like, you don't know the full story. He's like, I know enough.
So I'm gonna just say Tim Elliott is a king, and we should all give him more credit.
And of course, the UFC, because they're soft, they cut the audio out completely when it was happening.
A bunch of fuckboys in the booth were very scared to talk about it.
It was like awkward silence.
Dude, they got so quiet because the production team was like, fucking X-Day on the commentators on this. Just don't say it's bad and move away. I don't know. I fucks with it. Hey, if you hear your opponent is a piece of shit, I'd love to see some people start talking about Ali in the cage. How about that?
I still want to see Derek Lewis versus a certain heavyweight.
Similar things, right? Yeah. Like, why doesn't every Greg Hardy opponent not start talking like that in the cage? That's what I'm curious about. Then again, I just love chaos, and I think that's very well proven on this show.
You say chaos? You talking about Colby cheese?
Oh yeah, no, not that fucking one. Jesus Christ, you're right. He ruined an entire word, didn't he?
No, you talking about Williams? Chaos?
Oh God. Okay. Dan took a good time to exit after all.
Okay. Speaking of actual, probably
Kai
one of the
Kara
coolest
France.
names in all of MMA.
Dude,
Kai
how
Kara
insane
France.
was this fight?
So, Bontarine was the idiot who didn't he throw his mouthpiece or some shit, and he was mad, and then he
Well, so what happened was Bontarine backpacks Kai Kara France for 3.5 minutes of this round. Kai Kara France breaks at 30 seconds left, then throws complete fucking hammers.
Because I saw the finish.
Yeah. So he clips him and he puts him out with 8 seconds left, walks away after he face plants, and then because of the way the finish worked, because he walked off, and while Herb Dean did touch him, Herb Dean kind of had a lackadaisical walk around the cage attitude about it afterwards. Kai Kara France looked back over and was like, "Oh shit, did Herb not stop it?" So
and he kind of went like that.
Yeah, so he rushed back over to try and finish it, and then Herb was like, "No, it's over." And he's like, oh, "Okay." So I think people, especially the commentary, put way too much validity into all of that. I think it was clearly just did Herb Dean do the thing that he always does, where he didn't call the fight during a stoppage?
Absolute great victory by Kai Kara France. I remember, I saw some of the embedded videos for this card, and I believe he's having a child with either his girlfriend or fiance or wife, his significant other. So congrats to him. Being a dad.
And with the one win for City Kickboxing on the card, which is pretty wild.
Yeah, that's actually surprising.
Yeah, which is that's crazy. I would not have thought they would go 1-3 on this card, but it's pretty wild.
And then there was this fight.
Yeah, well, this went the way we all thought it was going to go, right?
Yeah.
I mean, unfortunately,
I didn't realize another guy that's undefeated. Oh,
well, not only that, but the second Askarov missed weight for this fight, I knew Joseph Benavidez.
God damn it,
He weighed in at 127 something, and I knew, but Joseph Benavidez is fucked. And to be fair, I think Askarov probably would have won either way. But good God, does the ability to not have to cut the full amount of weight definitely help with flyweight? Because that dude just had great cardio, floated in all of the scramble. That dude's ability to float in scrambles is incredible. And he was always a step ahead of Joseph Benavidez in every single part of the scrambles. There's a couple wild exchanges in the second, and Joe B just keeps getting caught with counter hooks. Just getting crushed with that front kick to the body over and over and over again throughout the entire fight. It was brutal. And it was a stamp on that win in a big way, for sure.
Yeah, a bummer to see it happen that way, but it's just too much physicality on the side of Askarov, and good victory for him. Can't take that away. This fight, I don't recall much. I saw bits and pieces while I was at work. Maybe you can kind of help me out again. Kyler Phillips faced off against fellow bantamweight Song Yadong, who I know Song is from Team Alpha Male, if I recall.
You are correct. It was.
How did this look again? Was it kind of more even, or is it just kind of? I mean, it says unanimous, at least according to the judges.
Yeah, we had Shawnee Podcast dropping in the chat. Look at us. We got everybody around here.
It's a party now.
I know. Hey, to be fair, all the delinquents be up in our chat. Just kidding, actually. Dan and Sean are the two not delinquents. The Fight Side boys, those vaping scooter kids, they're the ones you gotta look out for. Ed Gallo and his redacteds is the real problem out here. Anyway, I'm just making Twitter jokes. All right, what are we talking about? Yeah, Kyler Phillips is ridiculous. She didn't see this fight?
Barely. It was one of those where I was trying to kind of watch.
Kyler Phillips, actually, shouts to Shawnee Podcast. He Wonder Boy the shit out of fucking Song Yadong. He just absolutely fucking kickboxed her from the outside with some straight karate, like wide base in out.
Yeah, I'm
movement.
gonna watch this once we're done. That sounds interesting
It's
as fuck.
embarrassing.
So was it kind of like what Wonder Boy did to Luke, except with just Song didn't land shit in the beginning of the first round?
I mean, less definitive, but like, dude, Kyler just. I kept waiting for Yadong to be able to march into range enough to be able to actually land punches. And Trevor Whitman actually, during the commentary, one of the best parts of the commentary, Sean Chi and Yo Wonder Boy in chat. One of the best parts of the commentary was Trevor Whitman saying that to be able to fight Kyler, he has to be able to move and like stand on his shadow. And when he knows he's on his shadow, that's when he knows he's in range and he can kind of chase him down with punches. But yeah, Yadong's footwork, he had 0 cage generalship, which shouts to Alpha Male, notoriously terrible at all at cutting off the cage. I mean, Jose Aldo is the best example of that entire team not knowing how to cut off the cage. TJ Dillashaw also in later era. But yeah, they just notoriously don't know how to corral anyone in the cage, and they constantly get stuck outside of range because of it. And I feel like this was a pretty clear example of that. Just Song Yadong was always slow. He was always out of range. He could not get in front of Kyler Phillips. And Kyler Phillips is just doing the Wonder Boy shit where he's way outside and then he darts in, will pot shot and then be way back out of range. And also, Sean Shannon did point out something completely legit. And Kyler Phillips did go full open scoring, as Sean Shannon refers to it as, in round 3, and completely evade all exchanges because he knew he was so far ahead. And, like, yeah. Also, I feel like open scoring, well, first off, I would argue.
I know Max Holloway's for it.
Dude, I love open scoring. I know Sean Shannon's going to get all out in the chat when I say this, but I love open scoring because oftentimes it 100% encourages action from the losing fighter because it's more embarrassing for them to actively not fight when everyone knows they're losing. Right? Whereas you don't have like a fucking Aljamain or
you mean like a certain fighter with fucking Mjolnir tattooed in his chest?
Right, or like a Thiago Santos.
Yeah.
Or like, you know, like there. It's one of those things. Like I feel like I feel like it balances out. Right. Rosenstrike is the perfect. That is actually the example I was trying to pull. Rosenstrike's the perfect example where like, yo, if Rosenstrike had have known those cards and still put on that performance, like that's a cut somebody kind of decision, right? Like,
Real quick,
I feel like
to the careers or the UFC careers of Junior Dos Santos and Alistair Overeem.
Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah, that's so kind of crazy.
Yeah, but I would argue though that like. I think people are going to make that decision whether or not they know the score. I think it won't make a difference. I think they know what the fuck is good anyway. And the people who are delusional might fight harder, and the people who don't care will still not care. I don't think it'll make that much of a difference. So, I don't know. But then again, what do I know? I've just seen it work really, really, really well in Invicta over and over again. Shiny Podcast, and come on, bro. To be fair, I'm not that into it. I don't think it matters that much in most fights, because everybody just still fights the way they're gonna fight. And Shiny Podcast going off in chat. That's true. Yeah, but like, okay, so Shawnee makes the argument that Rosenstruck did finish Alistair when he was behind.
Yeah. But
like also he lost every round of that 4-round fight, and then Alistair Overeem chose to engage. And my argument, you're right. If Alistair Overeem knew he was that far ahead, he would not have engaged probably. And Alistair Overeem, I would argue, would have won a fight that he should have had a better game plan for if he accurately knew the situation in the fight. don't know. But then again, I'm not really that invested either way. Okay, so what else we got? Where are we at?
We got
Kyler
Dominic Cruz
versus Casey Kenny. This was one of the most frustrating fights on the whole card for me, man, for so many reasons.
So I was able to catch the entirety of the third and final round.
Wow, that must be a really weird take on this fight.
Yeah, because I scored that for Cruz, but barely. It was close.
Yeah,
but,
it's the only one.
But
it's only round. Well, yeah.
I'll just say this, and we've known this as Dominic Cruz fans and stans, whatever you want to call it, right?
San Diego.
If Cruz,
we're biased.
and I think everyone does have punching power if they put the right technique behind it or just effort. We know he doesn't punch for power, but fuck, man, just based on just some of the movement he had and footwork, even though he's, in my opinion, still very past his prime, dude, he'd be putting motherfuckers out just by some of the shots he was landing, even though it's herky-jerky weird as fuck.
Dude, it's crazy how well that dude succeeds while closing his eyes and throwing hooks. Like, here's an unpopular statement. Is Dominic Cruz the... No. I was going to ask if Dominic Cruz is the Francis Ngannou of the 135 division, but that's Cody Garbrandt. And he really is. Like, they both just throw opposite back pocket counter, like, humongous hooks. Like, if you look at the Rosenstruik Francis KO and you look at the Cody Garbrandt Pedro Munoz KO, they're like, it wasn't Pedro Munoz, it was what? RDA? Assunção. Yeah, they're like 1-to-1 in that they throw the ugliest giant right hook and it somehow lands. But good God, Dom Cruz just... That dude's game is so weird and it is aging badly. It held up very well in this fight, but I think that's 100% due to Casey Kenny not doing anything that was successful over time.
Did Kenny really go with the calf kicks or any sort of negating leg strikes? Because
not calf kicks, but mostly because he was fighting out of southpaw a whole lot of this fight. So he was throwing a lot of inside leg kicks, which were working over and over and over again when you remember to do it. But he also refused to work the body for 90% of the fight and just headhunted, which I don't know what. I don't know why everyone who watches Dom Cruz fights understands that, yeah, his whole game is head movement. It's footwork and head movement. So you kick the legs and you hit the body. Boxing figured this out hundreds of years ago. I don't understand why we do this still. Where we're like, oh, we're just going to throw punches in Dominic Cruz's head. Same problem with the fucking... who was the Momo who threw fucking 400 head punches when Kennedy Njoku just was shelling in the head the entire time? You're like, go to the motherfucking body, bro. Like, it's the only thing he's not blocking. I don't know. MMA fighters hate punching bodies, is what I've decided.
So given that he won, what the fuck does Dominic Cruz, where does he go from now? Like, who does he even fight?
Dude,
that division's so loaded.
Like, it's bad. It's not. There's no fun fights. You know what? Sean Shannon saying John Lineker never die in chat. I think John Lineker, if he was in the UFC still, might have bodied Dominic Cruz pretty clearly, just off body work. I don't know, man. I say
you do Dom Cruz, Cheeto Vera. I think what's. I say you do Dom Cruz. Frank
no, they're
Edgar.
Friends, aren't they?
I actually have no idea.
Maybe they're not because Cheeto's with.
He's with Ruka Sport in Costa Mesa.
Yeah,
in Irvine, the area.
Yeah, so I don't think Cheeto trained with the TJ guys. With
No, not at all. He has no affiliation. If I'm correct, I'm pretty sure.
I think you're right. So that actually, I don't hate that.
I want to see Dom Cruz fight Frankie Edgar. That's what I just want to see.
Yo, that's a dope fight. Yeah,
that's what I want to see.
Hell yeah.
No disrespect, both of them are legends. Both of them.
No, that would be cool as shit.
They're both goats or in the goat conversation.
Listen, they're not gonna. Yeah, that's
just
the fight.
Just call it a retirement fight, and I mean no disrespect.
Dude, yes, that is Chris. You Cruz versus Aldo. Sean Sheehan, you sick fuck. I swear to God.
Do you want to see Cruz
Yes, he
legs
does.
fly
He's
off, dismembered?
Sick human being who wants to see Dominic Cruz get killed in combat. Good God, sir.
Remember that fight almost happened, by the way? That was a real thing.
Fuck it. Fuck off.
Well, actually,
everybody fuck off.
The one that almost happened, do you remember back in, I think it was 2010, they had a face-off, and not a weigh-in, they had a face-off, Anthony Pettis and Jose Aldo.
That fight, to be fair, I think Aldo wins that fight. I think Aldo's a smart game plan and can win that fight. Even today, to be honest. But, no, fuck you. Sean Sheehan. Cruz versus Aldo.
Remember Dominic
not
Cruz also
acceptable.
called out McGregor, but then again, so a bunch of other people.
Aldo doesn't even throw leg kicks, and that's still
Not
not
anymore.
acceptable.
Yeah.
Like, oh, God. Could you imagine what Aldo would do to Cruz on the feet? Oh, my God. It's not acceptable. Chris, I love your idea. I think you totally nailed it.
It's not even just
the fight to
idea.
me.
I think it's a popular sentiment in my
Dude,
opinion. Like you go on
I
Twitter,
think you could make
too.
that, like, yeah, you could put that on a fight night card and make a decent fucking... I was going to say gate.
Cruz Edgar is gonna sell.
Yeah, I was going to say gate, but please do not put that in a venue with people because it's still 2021 and everybody's dying. I don't know if you've been to this country.
Cobra is still a
Jesus.
thing.
Yeah. Oh, God damn it. Dude, white people, I'm starting to be pretty convinced white people in America just want everyone else to die. I'm starting to be pretty convinced. Because there's one
So
group
when they say everything is bigger in Texas, that means
I
cases are bigger, right?
mean, Chris,
So
name the one thing all of the people in power have in common that are trying to kill everyone. It's either
Let's see.
rich or
They're
white.
old,
You can
they're
old,
white,
rich or
They're
white.
rich. That's the three.
Yeah. So I feel like everyone should go buy some bolt cutters and just in case. Shouts to Robert Evans. All right. Anyway.
Oh, by the way, you know
Alexander
what's
Rakic.
trending on Twitter? Real quick, the one episode of SpongeBob SquarePants where they make fun of Sandy being from Texas. Say, hey Patrick, what am I? Texas?
It's terrible, but hey,
He's like, you're stupid, SpongeBob. No, I'm Texas. I was like, well,
to be fair, Tom Kenny is a very, very clever man. And,
legend.
yeah, he's
Shout out also to his time on Mr. Show.
yeah, dude. Mr. Show is, I would argue, still one of the greatest comedies of all time, alongside early Arrested Development. It's like Mr. Show and early Arrested Development are arguably
Can I
the two
get
best.
change?
UCB here and there.
Give me change for quarters.
Yeah. Speaking of change and sketch shows, shouts out to Ass Penny.
All right. Anyways, I interrupted you rudely. Alexander Rakic.
Yeah, he absolutely housed Thiago Santos over 3 rounds.
I think Rakic is definitely. I mean, in this division, and with respect, he's a title contender already now. I mean, he has been. I think he will provide some problems for the 205 champion.
For sure. I think in general, he's just a problem for that division because of his size and his output.
Yeah.
Like, his cardio's good, his output's good. Like,
Yeah. I remember before, like, especially with that knockout against Manoa, I'm like, damn, this dude's going to be an issue, a problem, right?
Yeah.
I almost feel like this dude, even if you put on more mass, he can be a problem at heavyweight, but it really kind of probably depends on, well, I was going to say depends on his grappling, but no one fucking grapples at heavyweight anymore. It doesn't matter. Derek Lewis proved that. Doesn't matter. Francis Ngannou proves that.
You can
Doesn't-
stand up, it doesn't matter.
Unless it's going to be Stipe versus Ngannou.
Now DC's gone. There's only one grappler at heavyweight anymore.
Yeah. Either way, impressive victory by Alexander Rakic. This dude's a stud. So is Santos, but Santos just telegraphed. He telegraphed everything. It's
Well,
kinda
and
easy.
Santos literally just didn't ever commit to really committing. Like, he never
I remember-
really stepped in.
As weird or misty as Joe Rogan could be on the commentary, he had the good point about Santos's knees being just like, well, you can tell that he just. I mean, it's not the same.
I mean,
Come
he hasn't been
surgery?
this. Yeah, he hasn't been the
Not
same since the John fight. But like, he consistently.
Yeah, fuck.
Yeah, he just consistently doesn't really show up the way he used to. Like he doesn't just go like balls out the way he did.
So
and that was a big part.
He should have knocked out Glover Teixeira. He had so many opportunities to do that.
It's also
No, and I'm not taking that win away from Glover because I was impressive as fuck with that submission, but I'm sorry. I remember he had him rocked so many times. Like, bro, follow up with uppercut, knee to the body. I'm not a fighter, so I can't talk shit. But like,
yeah, well, but
there's no way he's capable of.
Yeah,
it's like it was frustrating.
A lot of his problems though, and a lot of his success came around him just literally going balls out more often. And like when you start taking severe injuries, your ability to be able to do that has got to diminish, right? Like, because how many of his wins were just him swinging fucking hammers at people like Jan Blachowicz when they're fucking sprinting at him? Like, you know what I mean? Like, a lot of his wins were just him swinging wild shit, which like, and like either losing by decision or winning by chaos hooks.
Yeah. Even his fight against Manuel, which someone brought up the point. Both these fighters have like knockout reels versus Jimmy Manuel. Poor Jimmy Manuel.
Yeah, I forget who that was. Might have been some. I think it was DC on commentary, maybe.
Yeah. One punch, bro.
Heart of a lion.
Heart of a lion.
I miss Jimmy Manuel.
Wait, what was our goddamn? What was? Oh yeah, my joke that I would always piss you off. Sacktown represent.
That's right. Sacramento reference. Also, shouts out to goddamn Stockton for the mayor paying people during the entire pandemic. You hear about this?
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, but evidently the town, like the city of Stockton's been paying people during the pandemic, like just because they're a good, well-functioning city. So I believe I had a Nate Diaz. Wait, what? Jeff about that.
Real quickly, shout out to Thiago Santos. I remember someone asked him about his tattoo, which is, I mean, it looks like Mjolnir, which in Norse mythology, is the hammer of Thor that Thor wields, the god of thunder, right?
Which makes sense because he's got the fucking hammer gimmick.
So apparently, Thiago says, I don't call it Mjolnir because apparently white supremacists and Nazis. They love that Nordic kind of stuff.
Yeah, the Black Sun.
So he says
Norse
apparently
shit.
if you call it Mjolnir, he says he's giving credit to Nazis and white supremacists. So they ask him what is it called. He said, I just call it Thor's hammer. Like, oh, that's actually really smart that he does that.
Well, and also part of that probably is because of his girlfriend Yana Kunitskaya, who's from Europe and probably has a way more nuanced version of how that all works.
Oh no, yeah, that's a good point.
No, but that's good. That means that.
I mean that's good.
She educated him on like, hey, by the way, gotta be careful with the Mjolnir shit because a lot of Nazis out here be doing that, and obviously you're not cool with Nazi shit because you're not a white dude from Europe or the U.S. Shouts out to the two places that create all the Nazis.
I mean, just by looking at Santos, as far as like if I were to guess his ethnic background, I'd say it's definitely Afro-Latino.
He's Brazilian, right?
I imagine
he's definitely Brazilian.
Yeah, he's 1,000% Brazilian. But I'm saying I would.
Yeah,
Brazilian. If I were to guess,
I'm not gonna guess on air. I'll tell you that. But yes, I would guess he's not the whitest man in Brazil.
Oh, he's definitely not white.
And yeah, no, it's cool hearing more people be like.
You would agree with us when we say fuck Nazis and fuck white supremacists.
It's literally our sign off nowadays because evidently it's more of a problem than people like to admit. So for a very long time, I was out here trying to tell people to go do something decadent, but you can't do decadent things when there's Nazis. So, yeah. On that note, Chris, good news. Israel Adesanya beat up Drew Dober. I don't know what that has to do with any of this.
What it has
I don't know why it's good news either.
Yeah. Well, what's good news is that Habib. Oh God, what is this in my room? I just killed something that was flying around. No, I didn't. Jesus. Okay, it's dead. Okay.
Speaking of war crimes.
Yeah, right. So Habib was basically hyping up his boy Makhachev, say he's going to be the next lightweight king. We'll see. I mean, Drew Dober is no slouch. This dude's a badass motherfucker. But man,
That
it's strong as Drew
dominance
Dober
was-
is, and I've seen some of his fights. Makhachev, like he basically, it's like Drew Dober knew it was coming, and it's like, what do you do? What do you do?
Yeah.
Makhachev might as well be like, hey, dude, I'm about to take you down. Good luck.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
this is one of the most impressive victories I've seen.
it
just,
was
like, it was outstanding.
so one-sided. It was wild.
I know DC, that's his boy too, and he said, he's top 10, arguably top 5. Don't know about top 5 yet. Maybe, and we don't know that. It wouldn't surprise me,
Hey,
if I'm honest.
I'll watch it. I'll watch him against any top 5, dude.
You know who I think he should fight? Fucking have him, I don't know where he's in the rankings. Have him fight Kevin Lee, even though he probably submits him really fast.
That is very rude to Kevin Lee of you.
I know.
But
remember,
also,
it's because Kevin sees holes in Habib's game. So this works out.
okay, counter argument, or as Bisping and Lewis would say, devil's advocate. What if you have him instead fight Gregor Gillespie? Is Gregor Gillespie a step up from Drew Dober? No, actually. He would have been prior to the Kevin loss, right?
But
Well, I think it would be a more competitive matchup, is kind of my argument, than the Kevin Lee fight. Because I think Islam Makhachev is going to decision the shit out of Kevin Lee pretty easily. But I think Gregor Gillespie at least presents a more interesting,
yeah, I like that fight.
like, kind of back and forth before he decisions the
I
shit
felt
out
like
of
if
him.
you were heavy hands and you or I were Connor, or Connor would say something along the lines of, what about if we just get Gleison Tebow circa 2011 to come back and fight Islam and then give him a loss? Right. I feel like that must be a bit from them. And,
Sure.
like, that's the fight I want to see.
I mean, yeah. That would be, I'd watch that.
Yeah.
To be
Right?
fair,
The one
to
man to ever
be
beat
fair,
you.
yeah, no, you're right. Wait, who is the hardest wrestler, but the best? Like, who's the person that Islam Makhachev can't take down, but they're relatively comparable on the feet? Is there anybody?
Probably Habib.
Well, but nah, there's somebody who won't. Like Ali Quinta would be a cool fight,
Okay.
or like
That'd be a good fight.
like somebody like that, right?
No,
Like,
who gives a fuck? Al's got to be top 10.
Yeah.
Gotta be. I haven't checked. He's got to be. And I mean, the rings. Have him fight Al. Fuck it. That's the next fight. That's a great fight.
I mean, it would be something that would get Al's attention, I would think.
Yeah.
And Islam Makhachev could make a name off that fight, and like that seems pretty competitive. I think it'd be fun. Like, because you'll learn a lot from both the
I
from
think they do.
yeah
I think it's gonna be Islam versus like Paul Felder.
yeah. I've heard
But I
that
don't-
talk, and I hate that because he's
But
just
I'm
gonna
for-
wrestle fuck Paul Felder. It's gonna be boring as shit.
Yeah.
Because like he can just out grapple Paul Felder very easily.
What about Dan Hooker?
Oh
That's
my
fine.
god! You want to talk about out grappling motherfuckers?
See,
Is
because
that- is that what we're doing?
You know what my real answer is, right? You do Islam versus Michael Chandler. Like, let's see it. Why not? You get an explosive guy in the
Yeah,
feet.
it's too big a step up though. He needs
I
something.
know.
You can't go from
Fine.
Drew Dober to Michael
I
Chandler.
know.
Okay, here's the thing: you give him Diego Sanchez, you let him absolutely kill Diego Sanchez in the
That's what
ring,
I'm saying.
and then you
It's like,
give
I can't
him.
hear you.
Yeah, if we're going full UFC matchmaking, then you just let him murder Diego Sanchez in the ring.
You talking about wanting a nightmare, B?
Yeah. We're just gonna let a man die via the hands of Islam Makhachev, and then he can fight whoever he wants because he died a man. Oh God.
Oh, the lion.
Yeah. Speaking of people dying, Chris. Oh my God, this fight was so great until it was bad.
Can I say this? Congratulations to Sterling for being, the now champion.
Yeah, nothing. There's no reason to take anything away from that, dude.
So he is the, identified champion. He's the champion right now. It is what it is. Not taking it away from Aljamain. However, I think this is what you do. And this is his call. He's an adult. You can do whatever you want. I think you run it back.
You gotta run it back.
Have to. And I'll say this too. I don't think anyone right now, and I'm honest, at 135 is beating Peter Yan.
Nope, Pyongyang is the perma champ until maybe
That dude,
Cejudo's the only question out there that I have.
Petr Yan impressed me. Aljamain impressed me as well too with the versatility of his strikes in the first 3 rounds. He looked great. He mixed it up. However, just the brute strength of Jan and his ability to he weathers punches. His guard is high and tight. I haven't seen anything like that. Like, I knew I was kind of a believer with the way he dispatched Aldo. And took Aldo, who punched really fucking hard. I'll just say this right now. I wish this stupid motherfucker didn't retire. Cejudo versus Jan. God fucking damn it. That'd be such a good fight. Yeah. And you know what?
That's the fight to make.
I'm probably taking Cejudo, but I really like Jan's chances too, though, in that. I'm still taking Cejudo.
No, I would take Jan. I
Jan?
think Jan shuts down Cejudo's wrestling game enough to beat the fuck out of him on the feet.
That's the thing. It sucks he had the illegal fucking knee because everyone just saw
everything was so good up until that. Yeah.
It's insane to me. I don't realize how good that guy is. Like, yes, you've never beaten anyone. Well, he just kind of proved he just kind of can beat everyone.
I've been super high on him since ACB, but like I thought Aljo would be able to induce a scramble and get the back, which he did induce scrambles and he did get close, but like Jan shut everything down in every exchange. Like it wasn't even close.
Yes, he's not the champ, but in my opinion, I don't want to be disrespectful, but in my opinion, Jan's still kind of the champ. It's kind of fucked up. I don't want to take it away from him, but like, because he got disqualified. You know what I'm trying to say? It's kind of fucked. But he lost himself the belt. Well, yeah, he's a dumbass.
And like,
regardless if he was ignorant to those rule changes or there was a language barrier, whatever the fuck you want to call it, or his corner's dumb, he still can't do that.
It's embarrassing. I said this in the
for anyone saying that Sterling's acting, just shut the fuck up.
Well, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
Prove that. It doesn't matter. Yeah.
Doesn't matter because someone's dumb enough to not know the rules of the fucking sport they're fighting in, and it drives me nuts that MMA fighters. I think I said this on the Body Lock chat. 60% of MMA fighters either don't know A, the rules, or B, the scoring, and that is embarrassing because it doesn't happen in any other sport. Like I think I made the joke that if MMA fighters played basketball, 5% of point score would be from goaltending. Because they just literally don't know the rules. Like, it's embarrassing, bro. Like, the only reason any of this shit happens is because you don't know the rules. Because everyone watching you is sitting there and saying, I hope he doesn't do that thing he looks like he's going to do, because that's going to be very bad. And then he does the thing, and everyone's like, that was very bad. I don't know how to fix that. Like, you chose to not know the rules.
That's all I have on this fight. I hope they run it back. I think they have to.
Yeah.
I have, unfortunately, a bad feeling that Sterling's going to like, no, Jan, go fuck yourself, which I get it.
I will say, though, when that actually was happening in real time, if you guys watch the Body Lock chat, you'll see my comments. I was like, I literally was yelling the Dan Hooker phrase from what fight was it that he was watching? It was no, you know what it was, and he was absolutely right in retrospect. It's fucking Dominic Reyes versus John Jones, or right, or was it who was it versus John? Who was it? Versus John Jones, he was like, take the fucking DQ.
Oh, like who told that to Smith?
No, it was Dan Hooker who said it about, I want to say it was John Jones. Didn't John Jones knee?
Oh, he did him twice. Yeah.
Reyes
Anthony
late
Smith
in the
even
fourth?
asked him after the fight.
Oh, no, it was Anthony Smith. It was the Anthony Smith one.
Anthony Smith, they even asked him after the fight, like, hey, Anthony, why didn't you take the DQ? He's like, I can't do that.
Way. But, like, he should have, because that motherfucker would have made $1 million if he did.
Yeah.
And I was literally in chat yelling, take like, the fucking D.
I remember I saw someone mention Anthony Smith.
I was literally in the chat of the Body Lock being like, Aljo needs to take the fucking money because this sport won't pay you right. And you take the money when you can get the fucking money. And I will stand by that. I don't care about fuck everything. Fuck everything about like legends or status or
You're paid.
You know,
Paid.
get fucking paid because no
I'll say
one
this.
is going to give a shit
You know
about
what's gonna
you.
happen? I think the next fight, if people don't want to hear this, I think it's gonna be Sterling versus Cejudo. Cejudo will be like, all right, this is my opportunity. I'm gonna come back, and Sterling's like, all right.
How wild would that be?
I'm telling you right now, Jan's not gonna get the rematch because Sterling's like, okay, well, go fuck yourself, bro. You need me in the head. You're a bitch.
I mean,
you know?
you already hear Sterling talking like he's like, I'll do the Jan rematch if y'all want the Jan rematch, but I'll take Cejudo fight any day.
Yeah, that's what's gonna happen, and then Jan's be like, "All right, well, I'm the real champion. Fuck you," and he's gonna do some weird kind of just heel kind of move. And,
The only thing that I would argue is who is Petr Jan's manager? Is it Ali?
I'm pretty sure it is Ali.
He is from ACB, so I would assume it's probably Ali.
Oh, you know what? And he is good at getting rematches.
And also, isn't Cejudo's manager Ali?
Yeah.
So, if I was to guess, I would say Ali, being the piece of
Ali-
shit that he is going to set up the Cejudo rematch, or the Cejudo fight with Aljo, to then try and sell a bigger fight with Jan and Cejudo, where he can win both sides of
This
it.
is how you do it. It is America.
We
versus
100% just figured
yeah.
out how this bantamweight title is going to get fucked, right? He's 100% going to try and set up because he thinks, I guarantee you, Ali thinks that Aljo will lose to Henry Cejudo, in which case, if he does, then Ali can make both sides of a championship fight match. He can make 10 to 15% off both sides of it.
Last time you had a fight between two of Ali's same clients, I know this happened
It
recently.
was not that long ago. It was Justin Gaethje and
Habib. Yeah, there you go.
Habib. Yeah.
Okay. I knew it was recent. Okay, thank you.
And weird that those kind of fights keep happening.
Well, anyways, good luck. Congratulations to Sterling. I know he didn't want to win that way, but it is what it is. Rules are the rules. Petr Yan, you're a moron. Fantastic performance.
Dude, just learn the
you
fucking
had the bag.
rules,
I
man.
had him up about 3 rounds to 1.
Dude, it was an incredible performance. Yeah,
That's one of the
3 to
top
1
performances
easy.
I've ever seen.
I think I had a 2-2 at
Say
the
this.
time.
I'll say right now. I think Petr Yan will be champion again.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm just all on that. Like that dude is like a fucking Terminator.
Hands down. I had a 2-2 at the time, but in retrospect,
He's
it
just
might
not
have
coming
been
back.
3-1.
I don't think he's coming back. I was just thinking that. I don't think he's coming back.
I think he will for a easy title shot that he thinks
If it is, it's right now. He'll want to fight Sterling. But
Yeah.
if not, if he doesn't come back for Sterling fight, then he'll never come back. There's no fucking way.
100%. Because I know he thinks he can out cardio Sterling.
And I'll say this right now. I think he beats Sterling.
I think that would be based on his last performance. I think that might be a tough fight for Sterling.
Yeah.
I'm
happy for Sterling. At least he's got the gold. He's got the belt. That's cool.
I'm glad that dude got paid because people who know about the neck problems he's had and the amount of time he's had in the sport, like that dude does not have a lot of years left in the sport, and this was a lot of people were talking about this is kind of his big shot to get a belt. And hey, it happened how it happened, but I'm just happy that dude's gonna get paid championship pay in the next fight because everyone should be getting better pay, and I'm never gonna
agree.
be mad
This
at
next fight,
somebody doing that.
oh
my god,
I'll take my 2 cents.
Dude,
it happened.
Embarrassing.
That's it.
Embarrassing is what the next fight was.
All I have to say, congrats to Amanda Nunes for
Yeah.
just. I mean, you're just still the GOAT always.
The best
at
ever.
Women's mixed martial arts.
The Phil Baroni of female MMA, except for actually the best ever.
And for anyone that keeps parroting that, bro, she should fight a male bantamweight. Go fuck yourself if you say that. That's not funny.
Oh, you should eat a bullet if you say that.
You're a moron.
No, like seriously, like it's
Yeah.
the gentleman. Also, what fucking shuts to Earl Skakel, the brilliant LA comedian who always shits on everybody for being copycats, and then also tweeted that out today. Great job, bro.
So yeah,
Unique ass take.
Megan Anderson, you tried. No disrespect. You
I
tried.
mean, Megan Anderson, to be fair to Megan Anderson, she never had the competition to be able to progress enough to be able to fight Amanda Nunes. Like, She's been
they-
shorted on competition
know-
for her entire career.
And I know they said, well, what's next for Menendez? Well, it's like, I guess you got to fight
35, bro.
Shevchenko
Yeah, no.
again. No,
I mean, like,
I mean those two
fuck
fights are
cares?
so fucking close.
Dude, yeah, but everybody
It's
hates.
just me saying boring shit. Yeah,
It sucks, and it's gonna be the same fight again, and like, it's not gonna be better. So I don't.
yeah. Fuck.
I
that
get
fight.
why people want to see it again. But like, as someone who like genuinely a lot of times is on that side of arguments.
Just remember, Juliana Pena said that Nunes is ducking her, so take that as you will.
I'll watch Nunes knock out Julian Pena.
Yeah, it'd be kind of funny.
All
All right, this main event was a good fight.
It was.
Let me give high praise
Yeah.
for Jan Blachowicz, who a lot of
Dude.
people didn't realize had a very good guard.
Jan of Rivia is the
Yep.
motherfucking man, and we need to put some respect on his goddamn name at this point.
I know a friend of mine texted me saying, "Hey,
He's a
I think
completely different
Izzy-"
fighter than he used to be.
Yeah, I know someone texted me like, "Hey man, Izzy's great, but I think he should have bulked up, and he was too small in there."
Wouldn't have made a difference, to be honest. I don't
Yeah,
think.
like, and I know John Jones is having a field day, and yeah, we get it. He hates Izzy, and it's
because he's
John.
he's a big mouth with nothing to do.
I'll say this. Seeing this, I really like Jan Blachowicz's chances against John Jones if they were to fight at 205. Because John doesn't
Dude,
like power.
100%.
John does not like power punchers in his face. We saw that
And he
with
super hates leg kicks.
and Dominic Reyes.
Yeah.
And Jan Blachowicz clearly has good takedown defense.
Yeah, and he hates leg kicks, and that Jan
And Jan
throws
Blachowicz
fucking
is very
heaters.
fucking strong. We saw that blast double. He basically telegraphed that fucking like slip counter from Izzy and just like, oh, you're going down. That was beautiful.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. Like the end of that was that fifth round. I was like, holy shit, because Izzy was getting comfortable in the pocket. Like Izzy landed a
Super.
couple
Towards the
shots.
second or third, he was starting to light.
I'm
Jan
gonna
up.
send you a clip as well too that someone on Reddit put together of how biased the commentary was. The
Oh,
entire
I heard
fight.
it.
They were
Yeah.
on Adesanya's dick, and I like Israel Adesanya. He's one of my favorite fighters.
It was
And it would have been fun to see him win the belt, but
Dude, the commentary
like-
was terrible the entire night. I think we tweeted out ahead of time the second that broadcast booth got announced.
yeah,
I
do you
tweeted out the
remember-
mute GIF where it was just someone turning down their phone volume. I was like, "Fuck that, dude."
So do you
So
remember at the end
bad.
of the post-fight, not even post-fight press conference, the post-fight interview, Joe Rogan goes like this to Jan. He's like, "Hey, yeah, you started your career at 185." Immediately, Jan goes, "Joe, I never fought at 185. I fought at 191 kilograms. I've never fought it." And Joe's like, "I'm sorry, that was my mistake."
Yeah, Joe Rogan has perpetually proven over the last 6 months that he has not watched MMA in 5 years.
Yeah.
Like, literally every interview he has, he references something from when he used to watch MMA. Like, remember when he asked what's-her-face about fucking robbing fucking up the mugger from, like, 6 years ago?
Oh, Pollyanna marijuana.
Yeah, Pollyanna Viana. Yeah, exactly. Like, that motherfucker literally has not watched the sport since Trump got elected.
Yeah.
And he still and then he tries to tell fucking Dom Cruise not to shit on Monster Energy because it's political. And Dom Cruise goes, "Joe, it's Monster Energy."
Yeah, shouts out to Dom Cruz. He's the
Dude.
real fucking winner of the entire fight card. He says it as it
Yeah,
is. I
hey.
know Cruz is kind of a dick.
As much as
but
100%. But like as much as we always, by the way, always shit on corporate sponsors is my opinion.
Even Dana is like, "Thank you, Dominic," and just continues to shit on Hans.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, first off, he's just a giant fuckboy Instagram model, basically.
asshole. I know who he. Like, I'm aware of who he is.
He's the worst. I'm only vaguely aware of it
Is he
because
the guy that was in the video.
yes.
Where
I
Chael
almost
Sonnen-
guarantee it. Is he a giant bitch in the background of a video where you're like, why is this weird white guy standing there with tattoos? Yeah, that's him.
Yeah, I think I've seen this. Ass.
He's the worst. He's a giant bitch. Just cause, like, how desperate do you have to be for
Guy
attention,
looks like
bro?
a-
I'm to be fair, it's probably because I am the opposite of that. I fucking hate that kind of attention, and I feel so gross doing it.
Yeah,
So when
this
I
is the
see
same
people doing
douchebag
that
of-
shit, yeah.
Oh god. It's the guy who's in the video where Chael was like pretending to talk to him, and then someone comes up with it and kicks the thing off of his head. And
Yeah. No, he's the biggest.
dude, he can't even hit pads.
Biggest fuckboy. No, yeah. Oh, it doesn't. Who cares if he can hit pads or not? He just sucks as a person. Like, God, dude. Yeah, he drives me nuts. I hate, but then again, I hate most white dudes with muscles and an Instagram page. To be fair, because most of them are trash. So I don't know. I got weird feels about it, but yeah, I don't know. Fuck that guy. I'm all for more UFC fighters being vocal about bad things around them, whether it be Tim Elliott shitting on one dude for choking his girlfriend in 2018, or whether it be Dom Cruz shitting on a sponsor of the UFC who has the middle of the cage logo that abuses them for contract rights. More fighters should be speaking up. And on that note, Chris, I'm just going to say, fucking power to the fighters. We're here, fucking Leslie Smith in the background, Angela Hill speaking out. Please, fighters, get what you're fucking paid and start speaking on your own behalf, for fuck's sake. Because it's the only way you'll ever fix the problem you're in.
Oh god, this Hans dumbass was calling out Cruz. I'm looking at some of his old posts, and this, of course, this asshole is based in Oceanside and Carlsbad. Of course, from fucking San Diego
of course,
County.
it's from San Diego.
God damn it, you dick.
Well, hey, if you guys own a pair of bolt cutters or a torch, I'm just kidding. I'm not advocating federal crimes. You should listen to Behind the Bastards podcast. Is my point. Go subscribe to Behind the Bastards, and definitely buy bolt cutters, but don't use bolt cutters. But buy bolt cutters. And Chris, you got anything else on here before I continue to?
All I got left to say is this guy's just a massive tool who likes cutting shit with knives and just kicking stuff.
Great. He sounds awesome. He sounds like a well-rounded human being.
Thank you, Dominic Cruz, for calling this dumbass out.
Yeah.
That's all I got left.
If you're out there and you have an Instagram account, maybe go shit on Hans from Monster Energy. Seems like a good use of your time. Maybe.
Well, hey, Hans. The only Hans that's cool is the one from Die Hard. Go fuck yourself.
Yeah. Any variation of calling him unmanly, I feel like would really hit hard and in a way he doesn't like. So go for that, I guess. And until then, buy bolt cutters or machetes or whatever you got. Say
is brought to you unofficially by Monster Energy Water, because it's got what plants crave.
That's right.
That's right.
Oh, I was gonna say racism, but
that too.
Okay, I guess electrolytes.
Have you ever
also
seen plants grow out of a toilet, Chris?
That's true. Plants hate racism. Plants are notoriously anti-racist. I've found over time. Shouts to weed. Okay. Well, on that note, this has been a very weird episode. I don't know how I feel about it, but I hope you guys had a good time. I mean, half of the things I said in this, maybe. I mean all the fight stuff. I don't mean any of the terrible, terrible jokes we made. Or maybe I mean 10% of them. We'll find out later. Please don't arrest me for federal crimes. Fuck racists. And Chris, do we have anything else to say before we get out of here?
Nazis, fuck off.
Hey, fascists, eat a dick. We out. Leia. We love you.
Liked by the sound of violence.